Hello, everybody. X here, back at it again to give you another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 68. While this is technically going live here as a premiere, this is technically pre-recorded due to the fact that we're in the midst of the holiday season. But I wasn't going to leave y'all, high out the drive with what could definitely be, which actually will be my last podcast episode of the year for 2023. And this is going to be dubbed the holiday special. And there's a little bit, a few little news pieces up in there. We're going to give some holiday traditional things and some of our wrap up thoughts for gaming in 2023, though. But I won't be doing this here alone. I got my good buddy over here, Steven. How's it going, man?
Going good.
All righty. So I think on the docket, and there's not a lot because I knew, going into the end of this year, after we had the previous podcast episode, after the conclusion of the Game Awards, news tends to die down between the tail end of that, all the way up into like the Christmas holiday time of December and the early parts of January. So this is where we kind of take the time to reflect on almost everything that's been happening in 2023. While yes, I will be talking about a year in review, it won't be in this episode. It was technically going to be the first couple of podcast episodes starting of the new year, just reflecting back on on 2023 because there's not going to be a lot of stuff going down though. However, in terms of game experiences that we've been going through and what we've been personally experiencing, that's what we're going to be going over as an emphasis tonight. So, we got the Poker Park Kanto thing to talk about, The Last of Us Online being canceled, E3 being shut down. And then we'll talk about our gaming experiences from our special game highlight, most regretted game purchase. Then we'll talk about our PlayStation wrap up because PlayStation sent out its full 2023 wrap up. Then we'll talk about Nintendo stuff. I don't think Steven, you got anything to wrap up with Xbox? I know you played Hi-Fi Rush, but like, was there
That's
anything else?
about it, and
I
that's probably the only notable Xbox release anyway.
I only played that, and I think Starfield, and I think those are my only two Xbox things I have even dabbled with. So yeah, if we had something, but I mean, there ain't really gonna be anything. And then in terms of holiday traditions, we'll say that towards the very end. We'll just go over our favorite movies, music, sweets, everything, the whole nine yards, and give a specific gaming memory that we just wanted to, just give a call out to. I remember telling one last year, so I had to go back to my memory and pull out another one though. But that's basically the whole docket of topics we're going to be talking about here today. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into that culture segment. All right, so I don't know about you, Steven, but this one definitely caught me by surprise. Poker Park Kanto. Now we already knew about stuff, and we actually talked about this, I believe, in the last episode, or episode before last, one of the two, where we were talking about how they just added a new DK expansion, or just announced that that's going to be coming to Universal of Japan, and by extension, it's going to come to the California as well as the Orlando locations as well. However, we were thinking, pretty sure, weren't you thinking this too, Steven? Like they were going to add other Nintendo franchises, potentially Pokemon in the future. Has that ever ran across your mind?
I, if anything, you know, like I feel like with Pokemon being like what the highest grossing franchise of all time, I'm more surprised this didn't already happen. Like
Yeah,
just by just by like stats alone and how much Pokemon Company focuses on like their merchandising, you'd expect this to have been done way earlier, but no, they're finally doing it.
yeah. You kind of brought up a good point too. Yeah, they're like one of the leading businesses in terms of just brand in general. We know how big Pokemon is, so yeah, to your shock or no surprise, yeah, it makes sense. It was like, well, why in the world they didn't do this at this point though? But I guess now that they saw Nintendo make some efforts with it and they saw the success of all of that, I mean, I guess they kind of go hand in hand. They're like, well, Nintendo, if y'all are able to do it, then we'll go ahead and follow right after you though. So yeah, so in terms of this news announcement, they did confirm that there's going to be a Pokemon theme park. So it's going to be 100% based upon Pokemon. And while some of y'all might look at the title of it and think, "Oh, this is Kanto Painter," no, Let me spit some facts here because, this is actually based in the Kanto region and Japan, hence the name Poker Park Kanto. If this thing were happened to be really big, it would not surprise me if they did one for Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh, because those are actual regions in Japan, not just only based upon the regions we know them in the video game. So if it happened to be that big, who knows? They could, do something like that though. But it makes sense. I'll be
Yeah,
curious to see exactly how it turns out though.
it being based on Kanto is never the problem. People that like hate Kanto, I don't I don't get it. Like obviously like around like Sword and Shield, it was kind of annoying because every single new Pokemon, like anything getting a new form would be from Kanto. But like we've kind of been past that already for a while.
Yeah,
Like
it's not as bad as what it used to be.
yeah, for a theme park, come on. Kanto's got half of the most recognizable Pokemon. It makes perfect sense. A theme park isn't for your die-hard fans either.
Yeah, it's gonna be more so like those casual ones. But however, in the when you're kind of doing the digging and the information and research up on this thing, it's not just gonna be the fact that the theme park is in Japan. You're gonna think, oh, is this gonna be a bunch of Japanese people primarily visiting this theme park? No, they're actually going for an international approach on this one. So they're trying to create a space where Pokemon fans from all over the world can gather in this rich in nature, experience Pokemon, and have fun together, transcending national, regional, and language barriers. So I imagine when you go up into this part, you probably are going to have people that are going to speak obviously Japanese. You're going to have people speaking English. You're probably going to have different signs up with multiple different languages up in there. So if I do happen to manage to go to Japan one day, I would love to visit Japan one day though. But if I happen to manage to go there, then if I were to go to this part, it shouldn't be a barrier of entry though. So that is cool to know nonetheless though. But I imagine if you go up into this part, I guess you actually managed to probably get some street passes. It's funny because I seen Kit and Krista, off their YouTube channel, they've been trying to get some street passes. I imagine it'll be easier to get stuff like that, or I can just imagine people whipping out their like what 3DSs or switchers or something in this part, and
That'd
you
be
probably get a
awesome to
lot of
see.
interactions. Yeah. But nonetheless, that's basically all the raw information we know. It's just an announcement of it. We hadn't seen anything like the Nintendo World thing in terms of like layouts, what we can expect from rides and attractions and all that stuff. You can go all out there though. But if I were to think about one roller coaster ride that I feel like would need to be thrown up into this park, it has to okay, actually, there's 2 things. One, I wanna see something related with Charizard with, like, just a fast pace, like, zipping around, flying. You know those roller coaster rides, Steven, where it's like you put your arms and your legs and they're strapped, and then it flips you up, like, horizontal, and then you just kinda fly around like that?
I'm
I'm
being
thinking
completely
something like
honest with you. I have not seen those.
"What? What the heck? Steven,
It sounds interesting, though.
bro, you need to look this
Wait,
mess."
you mean
It's
wait. Do you mean like the ones inside of like the wind tunnels?
Not in the wind. It's like, it's one of those roller coasters. You know how you normally would just sit down, right, and you just ride it like that? Well, these ones are a little bit different because you actually will raise your arms up and it'll put, like, a lock on there, and then before you take off, it will literally flip you up Superman style, like, you'll be going through the roller coaster Superman style, like, flying around like that. The coaster
Okay.
holds you up like that. So I'm thinking maybe there's a ride like that with like Charizard base or something. That would be kind of cool though. But I think the one that's given, without a fact, there's got to be something styled with Pokemon Snap. That if I don't see this right up in the park, I don't know what the heck the Pokemon company's even thinking about. I mean, that one's just laid out right there in front of you, like just an easy side scrolling things. You see Pokemon out there and stuff. Maybe you have like some kind of thing you get to take pictures of it or something in it. Who knows? That way you could actually send it to when you go to the Poke Park, when you go to an amusement park and you take those pictures at the very end and you get to determine whether or not you want to buy or you get to see how
Pokemon Snap, baby.
yeah, it lends itself perfectly. Like if I don't see this there represented in this part, that's just gonna be a fumble on their part.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. You know how amiibo the amiibo technology is technically used in those NFC bands?
Oh yeah.
There's no reason why you wouldn't imagine being able to like catch Pokemon throughout the park and then transfer those to home or something.
You know what? That would yeah, that actually be kinda cool, like,
There's no
and it
reason
would
why it
be
can't do it. It's like
yeah.
it can store data. If it can store data, what is a Pokemon besides data, really, in the code?
Yeah, and I can imagine they'd say, "Hey, go to point A, do this one little challenge. Go to point B, do this other challenge." And you wind up doing all these challenges, and then in the end, it doesn't have to be this Pokemon. I'm just
Yeah.
making this up, but maybe at the end you get rewarded with a Mewtwo or something like that.
I
They
was
give you a
gonna
code or
say
something and send it to your game.
I was gonna ask, didn't they used to have I swear that there used to be like Walker like events where like you go somewhere and put a Pokemon onto it, right?
I'm trying to I don't remember that old
Sounds
Walker because my
familiar.
brother had it. It sounds familiar, but I can't remember
I don't know.
exactly.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see it have some kind of compatibility with the games, but obviously, with how much merchandise there is of Pokemon, like that by itself, just having all of that in like one place would make the theme park interesting. You'd have tons of food to pull from the entire series.
Oh shoot, don't even get me
Yeah,
started on that. I think some of the best food actually does come from Scarlet and Violet. Like I was playing through the DLC a little bit on one of my past streams on my extra channel, and I was looking at some of that food that was given out in the cafeteria. I was like, dang, this actually kind of looks kind of good. Oh, so I mean, who's to say though? Ooh, poffins. They gotta have those like poffins or something like. Oh, that in the what's those things called from Gen 7, Steven? The thing that your rival was so obsessed about eating all the time.
damn it, the
It's
the
like
name tip of
it's
my
like them
goddamn tongue.
pancake things, whatever those things are
Yeah,
called.
I'm looking it up real quick.
But yeah, I know that thing that you eat in Gen 7, that's gotta be there present. I feel like, yeah, poffins, that kind of food, and they gotta find some kind of equivalent of, like, some kind of berry-related things because obviously the Pokemon and all the berries and stuff, so gotta have some, like, berry parfaits or something like that. I feel like that's a given.
I found that it was Malasada shop.
Malasadas, oh shoot, yes.
But yeah, no, you got tons of stuff to pull from. I honestly think a Pokemon theme park is a good idea. It really depends on if they do limit it just to Kanto, be kind of disappointing. But even in the recent games, they've showed that they don't really care about that anymore.
No, I'm pretty sure you'll have and as big as this part could be, and since it's solely dedicated on Pokemon, I imagine they'll probably do a little bit of everything. And then obviously once things have been going on for so long, like most theme parks, they tear down a section, they build up something new. It could be relating with a movie, it could be relating with anything with the TCG, it could be relating with obviously the new games whenever new generations do come out. I mean,
Yeah,
this is a constant part that I have to keep evolving or shoot. If it's really big, they can do a poke
yeah.
apart Johto, a poke apart home, whatever.
Just
But
about
yeah,
how Pokemon's all about collecting stuff. It would just be interesting to have a park where you can go around collecting stuff throughout the entire park.
yeah. And whole shoot, if you have Pokemon Go and you open up that app, whole
Oh
shoot,
man.
that would be a lot of chickens up in that joint. Too many. Ooh, I
Yeah,
imagine people. Oh, that'd be the perfect game just to play while you're waiting in line. I just thought about
the
that. That's
gift shop
great.
would have the gift shop would have to be a Pokemart.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that goes without saying because there's actual Pokemarts all throughout just Japan in general. So, yeah, I can easily see that.
Oh yeah, what is it like the Pokemon centers? I think they're called
Oh,
the
yeah,
actual
Pokemon
stores.
centers, yeah. Ooh, but yeah, that kinda got me excited. I really wanna go to that, and I still need to go to Nintendo World, though, but it's nice seeing, these different, video game adaptation things outside of video games themselves being represented from what we now got with theme parks, now got movies, like, we had that Legend of Zelda movie coming up here soon, though, so it's just nice to kinda see, especially from the Nintendo side of things, just that branching out, though, but nonetheless, really cool stuff, but I'll keep y'all posted whenever we get new updates on this as we, progress towards the future though. But I think that pretty much does it in terms of the pop culture segment. So we'll go ahead and jump straight up into what's in the gaming news. All right, so we got to talk about this mess. The Last of Us has been officially canceled. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. I wish that was the case. No, The Last of Us Online. Let me get it straight here for y'all. So, The Last of Us Online has yes been officially canceled. Now, I know if technically if The Last of Us series was going to be canceled, oh shoot, that would been a hot topic going, going on for a hot minute though. But yeah, that was interesting because at first I didn't have this on the dock of the news. I was just going to only talk about the E3 being canceled though. But I guess Sony said, like, hold my beer real quick because I got one for y'all too. So it's interesting nonetheless, though. But there was a little statement they actually managed to, say about this whole entire fiasco, though. And I'll just kind of quickly go over it here real quick because, as they said, we realize many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We made the incredible, difficult decision to stop development of that game. We know we know this news will be tough for many, especially our dedicated Last of Us factions community. Factions, man, RIP right there. Who have been following our multiplayer ambitions, you know, ardently. And we equally crushed at the studio as we were looking forward to putting this into your hands. We wanted to share with you the background of how this decision came to be, though. And I could keep reading on, though. But in a nutshell, though, they basically blew out the scope of this game. They had some good ideas going for it. They really wanted to do more and more and more. But then they figured out in order to keep and maintain this online thing, it's almost basically turning into a live service game. And it will have the whole studio of Naughty Dog working on this one series, and it will just become the Last of Us studio. Kind of like how you have other studios out there that only make and do and work on one thing, like the studio that makes Destiny 2. Like they will literally just become a Last of Us studio. And, the higher ups looked at that and they were like, you know what, this is not going to fly. So we're just going to have to nip this thing in the bud. So, yeah, so unfortunately, the scope of this game blew up so big that they were like, we're not going to invest all of this stuff in it. We just need to go ahead and nip it in the bud. And that's basically the gist of this. But how does that make you feel, Steven?
I don't necessarily care about The Last of Us, but I know a lot of people were excited about this online mode, and for some people, this was the whole justification. Like, at least online's coming, even if Last of Us 2 was disappointing and this and that. Seen people
Yeah.
saying, which,
What
yeah,
Which I would say, I was like, I'm glad they made this decision. I do feel bad, even though I'm not the biggest Last of Us fan, though, I do feel bad for the people that were waiting on this for the longest time because, people played the original Last of Us. They had a really good online mode for it. So they were thinking, hey, we were promised by roughly the end of this year, we should have it at some point, though. But you know what? They literally said, hey, if we were to be dedicated to this, well, basically it will cause us to stop making those single player focused games that Sony is well known in making, like obviously your Spider Mans, your Ratchet and Clanks, and Ghost of Tsushima's and stuff. Epic first party story driven games. Some people like to dub them movie games, but I digress though. But nonetheless, they can make some really good first party games. And them supporting this game would unfortunately hinder that process though. So it is nice they managed to pull the plug on that because I don't know about you, Steven, but I feel like there's live service games left and right, and I don't think all these people are asking about it. You got your King of the Kings, like your Final Fantasy 14s, and you have things like Fortnite and stuff. And while everybody wants to get a piece of that pie, not everybody can necessarily get it because there's only so many hours in the day and so many, users to actually pull that money from before they can't invest in anything else.
yeah, that's just how it is. Making a live service game nowadays is just temporary funds. You're not gonna, yeah, you're not gonna really get anywhere. I guess my only issue with Last of Us Online being canceled is that they say that they want to focus on other stuff, but then they make stupid decisions like Last of Us 2 Remastered.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they have proven that they're just they're just making things unnecessary. So I can't really believe them when they say that. I don't know. I see people saying that, oh, Last of, it's either this or Last of Us 3 when it's not like that at all. Like it's whatever game that the studio, whatever game Sony wants them to make, they'll make. But
Yeah,
yeah, on the topic of just online games in general, it's probably a good idea it was canceled, but at the same time, they probably got a lot of work on it done that is just going to go nowhere now because they didn't think of this sooner.
yeah, and I feel bad for the game developers. Like they're working on this, they're noticing how big it's getting, and they're like, do we keep going on? It's kind of like you exploring a cave and stuff. You found a little bit of gold down there. Everybody's excited though, but as you kind of get a little bit deeper, it gets a little bit darker, gets a little bit bigger. You're not sure when you turn around your corner, turn your head around the corner of your shoulder, and you're like, am I gonna even make it back to the surface? Like what's going on over here though? But I do kind of feel bad, them investing that much time into it, but they ain't gonna have really too much to show for it though. But Naughty Dog did manage to say towards the very tail end of the little project update statement, they managed to say we have more than one ambitious brand new single player game that we're working on here at Naughty Dog, and we cannot wait to share more about what comes next when we're ready. So I imagine since it said more than one, it's gonna be obviously Last of Us Part 3, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be a new IP for Naughty Dog. Now, I wouldn't really care too much about The Last of Us Part 3, but I am curious about what the new IP could be. Depending on how that shapes out, depending on what game it could be, that's the one I would be excited to see. Not necessarily The Last of Us, though. That just ain't my cup of tea, though. But nonetheless, it is a little bit unfortunate for the fans out there, though. But ultimately, it probably is the better move because I imagine most Last of Us fans they could have had a good online thing going for who knows how long, assuming if it didn't, come back to bite them in the butt and no one was there to support it. But more people might agree that hey, we just want to get more good single player games. So I don't put this past them. Any other remaining thoughts on this one, Steven?
Nah, just, rest in peace to Last of Us Remastered. You
Or
know,
Last of Us Online?
or Last of Us Online. I seen people joking saying, "Oh, it's gonna come back as Last of Us Online Remastered," which no, no, it
Oh
ain't.
goodness. Well, that's one cancellation. Let's move on to the second cancellation, which honestly, this is the biggest thing. I thought we weren't going to have any extremely big news after that last episode we had, but oh shoot, you know what? 2023 was like, I got one more for y'all because the company that's running and supporting E3 managed to come out in a statement and say, yeah, E3 is basically dead. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I think I rolled out of bed and looked at this. I was like, what the heck? So in their statement, they said, after more than 2 decades of E3, each one bigger than the last, the time has come to say goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Period. Point blank. That is it. That was a really
Yeah,
short statement right there.
could have seen this coming, honestly.
Yeah, because I think ever since COVID, we all kind of saw the writing on the wall. Was it 2021, early 2022, when every company was trying to catch up with Nintendo in terms of doing like an online presentation? Like we saw Capcom do their own stuff, Ubisoft started doing their own thing. Obviously, Sony started doing their own state of plays and stuff to kind of catch up with them. And then even Xbox, way later, I think they were like one of the last ones to the party, though. They went back and revitalized and said, I don't know exactly what they call those statements. It's like an X. I'm just gonna say Xbox Direct. I can't remember the exact brand naming that they're going with though, but they basically have something equivalent to the state of plays and stuff. It just doesn't happen nearly as frequently as state of plays and Nintendo Directs. But nonetheless, everybody made this jump over to digital. I think what was it this year? They basically canceled E3 at the last second because all these other companies were pulling out at the last second. And that if it weren't on the wall originally, that's definitely where it was up on the wall at that point.
Yeah, it's sad to have E3 gone, but everyone was already abandoning it anyway.
Yeah, and I would say, you know what? The one thing I will miss about E3, while yes, unfortunately they didn't manage to kind of keep up with the times, And, because we knew that they needed to update their way how they handle announcements and stuff. It's not like the old era where everybody had to see what happened at E3 because, technology wasn't up to snuff. We weren't able to see things, live and stuff online back in the day and stuff. So we used to have to rely on other people going there, then obviously reporting on the news via, magazines or news articles and stuff like that. That way it would get to the readers at the time. Obviously, physical media was more of a thing than obviously digital media where we're living in right now, though. But yeah, it was much more important back then than obviously it is right now because we could, as Shigeru, what, yeah, oh yeah, I can't even talk right now. As Awada says, we want to present this information directly to you. So since I think Nintendo, honestly, and I want to hear your thoughts about this, Steven. I think Nintendo might have been the cause of E3 dying, or at least the one that actually sparked up a match and threw it up there on the pile of wood. But what you got to think?
Well, they said that I don't know if we're gonna go on that precedent. Like, yeah, they kind of set an example many years ago. Like, just the concept of directs. They were, Nintendo is usually very behind on the times, but when it comes to like their social media presence or they're just their presence in culture, they're usually always relevant. Like, Nintendo Directs really were a great way to get people talking about the newest Nintendo games, even if they didn't care about them. Like, it's a big every Direct has at least one announcement that people are really excited for, I feel.
Yeah, and I think if you remind yourself, this was several years ago. Nintendo was technically the first one to pull out of the live show events that happened at E3. Because remember
I
how
think so.
Xbox always used to go up on the stage and they'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna bring out this new car and stuff." And I remember a few of those PlayStation events back when PlayStation was still showing up at E3 before. What was it, 2022? They pulled out and they said we're just doing our own thing and they weren't there anymore. But
Something like that.
yeah, so, like, Nintendo was the first one to pull out, and obviously they were was it Sunday, I think, was the Xbox day, Monday was, like, the PlayStation Square Enix day, and then I remember Tuesday, I felt like it was Capcom, and I think Nintendo's, like, the last one to show up, but they just showed their Nintendo Direct, and we immediately went into, like, the Treehouse Live stuff, so that's how they kinda did it on their own terms, though. But, yeah, it is kinda interesting, to note that, though, but, did you have a favorite E3 moment? Like, can you recall any good E3 moment that just kinda that you can just call upon and you just remember it fondly?
Um, it's probably gonna be the E3 where like Mario Kart 8 and Mario 3D World showed up, which I think was 2013.
Hmm,
Either
okay.
2013 or 2014. I think it was 2013 where like Mario Kart 8 got its big reveal, Smash Wii U got its big reveal, 3D World. Like a lot of games that like, when I was a kid I was excited for. I'd say another one is E3 2017 ending with that really awesome trailer for Mario Odyssey immediately going in the treehouse with the gameplay. Um, Obviously, for a lot of people, the Smash Bros. Everyone is here is gonna be up there.
Yeah, and I am gonna miss those big blowout stages where, like, obviously when you said that everyone was here, like having that huge banner that was up on there with all of the different characters up in there, and then you had like what sandbag and different artifacts and stuff or different weapons from different characters and stuff. I am gonna miss that kind of presence. Like you had different people from Nintendo and they're just going, filming the show floor and stuff. I am gonna miss those moments though. Because holy shoot, I remember what was this back when I was in high school, I believe. And when E3 happened, for that whole week, it was like roughly like a week or two after I got out of school. So I would manage to, hook up my computer to my TV and I would have, just E3 stuff that's playing up on there, either all the different past shows and stuff. I had that up on there. I'll just have whatever they're going through and talking about, and I'll just be soaking in all of this information. I'm just gonna miss that because Even more so the fact that E3's gone, while yes, a lot of people may not miss it or slash are now gonna grow up without even knowing about the thing I'm gonna miss is the structure behind it. You knew what companies were gonna present on certain days. You know, Xbox was Sundays, you knew PlayStation was on Mondays, you knew Nintendo was on Tuesdays, and then all the other third parties and stuff that were kind of dedicated and relegated between all those different days and stuff. I'm just gonna miss that structure where you were able to plan behind it though, especially now that I'm actually running a YouTube channel and stuff. It would make, covering this stuff a lot easier now. But now it's like with the way how we don't have any official thing that's kind of, pulling all this stuff together anymore outside of Summer Game Fest. It's just sporadic. We just don't know what the schedule is. Like, especially Nintendo. Nintendo, the kings of left field. They just show up at the plate whenever they want to, though. But oh shoot.
Yeah, uh, Nintendo definitely will probably still have bigger reveals, than ever. Like they'll still have like the stage when a Nintendo Direct happens. Even to this day, state of plays don't really feel that exciting. Like I haven't really seen any state of play that I particularly cared about, except for maybe one of those Spider-Man ones.
Think there was, like, only 1 or 2 that I think I
Yeah,
kinda remember.
like
Yeah.
whatever one had the big blowout on Spider-Man 2 was cool. Xboxes have been fine. One of them is one of those Xbox showcases Hi-Fi Rush got shadow dropped at. That was great. Just revealed and released in the same day. And especially with the quality of that game, stupid decision. That game should have had a full like, release hype up with how great it is. That's
Mhm.
going a little, yeah, getting a little ahead of myself. It's definitely going to be interesting moving on because, like, on one hand, having everything, I think the whole appeal of E3 more than the actual show floor and all that was just having all of these companies under one roof.
Yeah, and that
No,
is true.
yeah, knowing that it was the gaming time, no matter what company you liked, everyone was there. And who knows? Maybe if you were a Sony fan and you were on the E3 like show floor, oh, okay, Sony doesn't have anything. Sony's uh show floor isn't up yet. Let me go check out Microsoft or check out Nintendo. It would introduce, it would probably just be a good time for every company.
Yeah,
But with
and
COVID, it was just a good time to stop doing it.
yeah, and I think I asked you about some of your favorite moments, and they were like more recent. I think some of my most iconic are the ones that stood out to me, or at least ones I went back and watched, or I remember watching them. There's a couple that come to mind. There's the one where it was during the Wii U era where they mentioned, or when they revealed Star Fox Zero. Like, remember those? I was saying Muppets, I guess puppets.
Yes,
Remember when they came out and stuff, and you had one for Reggie, and you had like one for I think, Iwata had one, and
and it
did
was Miyamoto.
Miyamoto? Yeah, all 3 of them. That was cool. That one always stands out to me, like, if I were to go back and, like, look up old ones, that one always stood out. I just thought that was so cool. I think it was that one particular, skit that they did that actually convinced me to say, "You know what? Let me try out Star Fox Zero because I don't think at that time, I don't think I played a Star Fox. No, I think I played Star Fox 64, so it's been a long time, but yeah. I think that one was a good one. Let's see here. I know there was the other one, which I didn't live it live. I saw it after the fact, but like when you have like crazy things when Nintendo was revealing the 3DS and they had the 3DSs chained to the women themselves and they were walking around and showcasing that song. That was a different era Nintendo right there.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
The Wii era definitely brought some funny E3 moments. For example, the horrible showcase of Skyward Sword
Oh, that too. Yeah.
stuff. Wii Music.
Was it Wii
If you
Music? And I thought there was something else weird with the Wii. I'm trying to think about it. Yeah, because the
well,
Wii was weird because I guess there were so many people and so many Bluetooth devices that were in that room. I thought at one point they said, "Hey, if you got your phone in here with Bluetooth on, turn it off," or something like that. There was just that many people up
s-
in there. It just wasn't
something
perfect.
stupid like that. Yeah, it was like, please turn off your devices. Basically, that I don't know. Obviously, Skyward Sword works fine. but it was kind of a horrible showcase
Mhm.
for that.
And then you have that iconic moment where Reggie came out the first time. He was like, "My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking butt. Well, not butt, but it was something else. And taking names. And we're about making games." And I was like, "Oh shoot! This man came out swinging like you just don't get raw moments like that anymore."
Yeah.
I mean, you got Doug Bowser at the top of Nintendo of America, and he does
Who
what he does. But
cares?
I know he ain't the Reggie we all knew and grew up with, man. I mean, still to this day, y'all see Reggie out there in public, y'all still happen to walk up to the man and be like, "Bro, where is Mother 3 at?" Oh
I
shoot,
seen,
that moment was in the E3 thing too. That was funny. Oh
well,
shoot.
yeah, like when they did the Robot Chicken skits, which you know what Robot Chicken is, right? Or do you just
Yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah.
like the stop? Yeah, the Robot Chicken like animated shorts. Those are by far to this day one of the most non-Nintendo things to ever happen. Nintendo like collaborating with someone that people that usually do like adult animated like shorts, adult comedy for that was great. Especially because, like, they kinda brought their brand of humor over to Nintendo. Like,
Yeah,
it's even nowadays, you wouldn't see Nintendo make some stupid Mother 3 joke like that, 'cause, they don't have to.
yeah, that's just funny. I just kind of miss that quirky era of Nintendo, but it was only because they were doing so bad from the home console side. Thankfully,
Yeah,
they
I
had the
don't miss
3DS
that.
going for it, but I miss the cool advertisements. But the cringy stuff with the Wii U advertise. Okay, now that was a whole nother pill to swallow right there. I
Yeah,
don't miss that.
I was about to say, like, you say cool, I'd say the cool and cringy stuff really was just interchangeable depending on what you consider to be cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I don't know.
true.
Some of it I didn't find some of it to be that cool. I'm just glad, that we did have those fun E3 times. There's, the older E3s were some of the bigger ones. I don't remember if this was E3 or not. Have you ever seen that video of like when the PlayStation like was being detailed? Where like Sega had like a big thing about Sega had like a big presentation about the Saturn, and then PlayStation just walked up on stage, said the price of the PS, like said the price of the PS1, and then went off stage, or maybe it was the
I
PS2.
think I heard about that. I hadn't seen it, but
Like
I remember hearing something
yeah,
about
like
that.
the guy just went on stage and said 299,
Yeah, and
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 then
they were
walked
trying to
off
like
stage.
one up the competition right there on that stage, and it's like, bro.
Just seeing all of these companies in one place is just allows for funny moments like that. Well, on a direct, you don't really get that many funny moments. The only like funny thing I've seen about directs is people making fun of all the farming games.
Yeah, that direct was truly something with all those farming games, though.
Yeah, it's obviously we're in a digital era nowadays, but it will be interesting to see if Summer Games Fest does replicate that feeling. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
and speaking of Summer Game Fest, that's literally the only thing we have moving forward now.
We have
Which now,
Gamescom.
I mean, in terms of like the replacement for something like an E3
I don't know. I
for
feel
that
like
same time
yeah,
spot.
one of those things that already like Gamescom like had it has an opportunity to become as big, but like didn't I'm trying to remember E3 was like LA, right? That was like a very
Yeah,
populated area, populated show floor, which honestly it make thinking about it, maybe like the location and the expenses of the venue are why it was canceled in the first place, but I don't know.
yeah, and since the only thing we have left is Summer Game Fest, that it is going to be a little bit odd because now you got Jeff Keighley basically dictating exactly the way how he kind of wants things to be kind of presented or showed off, or he'll have a large influence on basically what kind of happens in the absence of E3. Between that and now the Game Awards at the tail end of the year in December, I mean, that's all we got left. So I am going to miss E3 just for the strict, rigid structure of it and the fact that it is ran by a lot of different people. So, in comparison to, Summer Game Fest, it's only led by like one person. So if you don't like the dude or way how he structures and run things and stuff, well, that's just what we're gonna have now because it's not like there's anything else that's gonna be able to rival that. So that is gonna be a little bit unfortunate when you kind of sit down and
Yeah,
just think about that.
I feel like no, I feel like a rival will show up because I feel like people are gonna get like, no offense to the guy, he's clearly trying his best. People are gonna get sick and fucking tired of Jeff Keighley. They are like, I don't know, especially with how this Game Awards went, how like it seemed more annoying that he was just trying to wrap up the show fast more than anything. I feel like people are gonna get sick and tired of his shows really quickly compared to regular E3.
And yeah, compared to regular E3, yes. But if you were to look in at the history, I think of just the Game Awards itself, like I think it was back. He was associated with the show or some weird website. I can't even remember the name of the website. I just happened to hear about it though. But before there was a Game Awards, it was something weirdly called back in the day though, and it used to be a really extremely crusty show. Just look up some footage up on that mess though. That mess was crusty, but since Jeff Keighley came in, it made that show look leagues better. While I guess it's still not ideally perfect in comparison to where it used to be, oh shoot, it's just miles better. Obviously, there's still room for improvement though, but he, made tremendous effort in terms of getting that show to the spot of where it almost needs to be though. Now,
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll see about Summer Games Fest because that was just completely done by scratch. So we have to kind of see how he shapes up this thing
Yeah.
though. But it's going to be interesting to note this moving forward though. I ain't
Yeah.
going to miss the era of E3, but we like as you said, we're in this digital era, so it's just
I
honestly
don't
it's going to
think
be
the
weird.
I don't
It,
think the quality of the games themselves will drop. Like I don't think well
well,
I
not
don't
the announcements. Yeah,
well
like
yeah
the
the
announcements are
the
still going to be
announcements, I mean, yeah.
announcements.
The
Yeah.
announcements are still going to be exciting. Like, whether it's Nintendo themselves that does them or PlayStation themselves. Let's just say, Nintendo not Nintendo. PlayStation announces their next big game. They announce what's I don't know. They announce the next God of War game. It doesn't matter where they announce that it's gonna be
Did you say
super big.
Nintendo announced God of War
No,
or
I said
oh, you
PlayStation
PlayStation.
after.
Oh,
I
you
think
went back
so.
and forth. Okay.
No, but I guess a good example nowadays is something like GTA 6. They just released to that trailer, like shadow dropped that trailer after it was leaked. Like they didn't even stick to the release date they said for the GTA 6 trailer, and it still became their most viewed video in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, that thing went to break on a lot of records though. So
Yeah,
yeah.
fact of the matter is that, like, as long as, like, it doesn't matter where the game is announced necessarily. People, if they're excited for the game, will tune in.
Yeah. So that
Um, it's really just the local aspect we're missing because E3, was it 2021 was the last year we had it, right?
was it. I'm trying to you know what?
Was
That's
it
a
in
good
all
question there.
online?
I thought 2021 was all online, and I thought wait, hold on, no, because yeah, I thought
2021 is
2021
where we got Tears of the Kingdom footage. I remember it for that alone.
that year, yeah, because we were still in the midst of COVID, so that was completely digital. I know we didn't meet in person. I think 2022 they opened it back up, but obviously everybody was wearing masks and stuff like that. And I think 2022 was the last time we had an in-person E3 because 2023 they were trying to bring it back, but it got canceled at the last moment.
And that for me was like, okay, yeah, E3's done. I thought it was just not gonna, like, I don't know, them even doing like a formal announcement about it, like everyone already knew it was over. I guess they were just saving their and like, saving people like gaming outlets the time.
Hold on, was no maybe E3 2022 was canceled in 2022 as well. Well, what the freak?
I'm pretty
I'm trying to
sure
remember what was the last year.
it was 2021.
Was it?
If you're talking about in person, it was probably 2019.
Maybe it was 2019. Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm getting confused with. Yeah, because I think E3 in general didn't happen in 2020 or 2021, but in terms of a digital presence, yeah, I think it did happen in 2022, and that was the last time we had the event. Period. But in person, like what you said, I think it was pre-COVID. Dang.
Yeah, no, it was 2019. Like we had a lot of stuff that year. I can't remember anything that was necessarily at the show floor, but like that, 2019 is
That
when
2019
Tears
was
of,
the year we had Astral Chain, Luigi's Mansion 3. Was it Dragon Quest 11S?
yeah,
And
Tears of the Kingdom got its proper actual reveal.
yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a big E3, which is sad for like their last one, but yeah.
We had Link's Awakening that year too. Yeah, so
I think one thing I'm gonna miss, which we're not gonna get these anymore, is the did you ever watch any of the Devolver Digital showcases
I think I
for
saw a
E3?
couple of those, and I
They
was
were
like,
stupid. I loved them.
yeah. I mean, I heard about them being like stupid, kind of funny though, and I was like, hmm. But obviously, you weren't there for like any serious announcements, unless you're just a diehard Devolver Digital fan. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
like that was fun about it. Like, it was like 2 hours before like one of the other big showcases. So it's just fun to like watch something like that while you're waiting for the ones you care about. And it was always usually Nintendo that was had like the last showcase, and you had stuff in between like EA, Square Enix had their showcases, PC gaming show.
yeah.
Like now they just now they just have everything all in spread throughout the year.
Yeah, so I guess to wrap everything up in a nutshell, yeah, it's sad to see E3 go. It's going to be, another product of its time, though, and it's only going to be weird people or few people like me and you, and then obviously people that are a little older than me to remember those great 2010 era shows, though. But yeah, it's going to be a relic of the past, though. So it's going to be funny seeing these newer generation of people grow up and be like, "Oh, I grew up with everything being digital." We'll be like, "Well, let's show you like one of these crazy three showcases," and they'll probably just fall out laughing looking at some of these older ones, just seeing what we had to grow up with and how we got presented with news and stuff. So a little sad to see it go, but nonetheless, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, I just went back real quick. I went to a just because I don't want to go find an article. I just went to a Watch Mojo video to see like I just looked, one of their videos about top E3 whatever, and there was a lot of big stuff that was revealed on those E3 show floors, like you know, Zelda Twilight Princess, Miyamoto coming out on stage with the sword and the shield. The Mario 64 original demos,
Yeah, you're going
stuff
way
like
back if
that.
you're saying the original Mario 64
Well,
ones,
that's what
but
I'm.
yeah.
It's been, yeah. I guess it's been so long. E3's been going on that it just felt like COVID really didn't kill it faster than it would have still been going.
It still would have died, but that was definitely like someone showed up at the door and was like, "Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
it's time to go."
I guess another one, which was looking back on it, this was cool. The Crash Bandicoot reveal, and I think it was 2016 E3 for Sony. Like the
Hmm.
guy, them coming onto stage and announcing the Insane trilogy for Crash.
Oh yeah, yeah. They finally gave the Crash people another bone on that one.
And
Yeah.
those are the only ones I can think of really. Uh it was great. It was a great time to be a child watching all of these as they came out.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But whew, all right. But I believe that's basically gonna do it in terms of most of our E3 stuff. I've been reporting on this stuff or even saying stuff on Twitter before I even had a channel on this for a long time. But it's finally time to close the book up on this thing, though. But one last word, Stephen, before we move on to the next thing, or have you made your peace? Like, have you thrown your flowers up on this grave, man?
May may I pray that Jeff Keighley gets struck down from being the sole ruler of E3.
Oh, shoot, bro, I wasn't expecting nothing like that. I was expecting you to throw flowers down, and then think you were gonna throw a
No.
lightning bolt down. Gosh
No,
dang!
I have thrown down my mission.
Oh goodness. All right, E3. Well, it was real and it was fun, but it wasn't real fun though, except for when it was. But man, all right, rest in peace, rest in peace. But yeah, that's gonna basically do it in terms of all of our gaming news right now. So we're gonna go ahead and switch it over to our gaming experiences for 2023. All right, so for this one, I have a few things I wanted to go through and just talk about between me and you, Steven, on some of this stuff though. while yes, we probably all have our game of the years, and obviously I'll be talking about that in some future videos and stuff in the month of January and though, but I just want to take one moment right here in this little bit of the podcast just to gush about a game that you just happen to really like. It doesn't necessarily have to be your game of the year pick, but one game that you we might not said it enough on the show, or especially now looking back at it, and we just want to reflect on every game we've been through this year. Just one game out just to kind of gush about for, just a little bit of time, Steven. So what's that one game you want to gush about?
Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Wonder? All right, man, go ahead and shoot.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder, especially as someone who's played how many hours in Mario Maker and I've gotten sick of the new Super Mario Bros. Art style 10 times over. It's so great to have a return to form, something that really feels like it could have been the proper evolution to like Mario World, for example, art style wise. Gameplay wise, it's still very similar to New Super Mario Bros., but I just love everything about that game. Every single level has something unique about it. It never feels like oh, has the game run out of ideas yet? To the end, it feels like I'm seeing something different. And even if I replay the game and I've gotten used to the layouts of everything, it's still going to be exciting to go back and play those again compared to like older Mario games. Because every single Mario game before this, Mario World, they didn't ever have a level that just had nothing new. So seeing the new Super Mario Bros. Games kind of reuse stuff throughout the entire thing, like it made them less fun to go back to. People remembered them less. I feel like Wonder is gonna be one of those like modern classics that people will still talk about many years to come. Um, it's obviously just a fully single player, mostly offline game, so it's gonna stand the test of time more than anything. Um, People complain about the multiplayer, but like new Super Mario Bros. Games and multiplayer weren't necessarily the most fun experience gameplay wise. They were more chaotic than anything. Like I don't go back to those to actually have fun playing the game. It's more to just have fun messing with my friends. But single player wise, it's perfect. It controls really tight, it looks really nice. The music isn't all that memorable, but it's still good. It still works for the scenery. Um I love everything about it. I could gush about this game for hours, but I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to go into every single level.
Yeah, and I was actually playing a little bit of Super Mario Bros. Wonder right before this podcast because I was trying to open up a few of the secret world entrances. Because right now I'm currently going through and streaming the last little bit of my gameplay, like the tail ending of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I'm just purely capturing that on stream. So as of the point of this recording, though, the last stream I need to do is just the one where I just challenge Bowser, beat him, and then turn around and knock out the last remaining secret world levels though. But no, to piggyback off of what you said with that, no, Mario Wonder, that's definitely a game right there. Like I've been thoroughly enjoying this a lot more than what I thought I would, and I knew I would have, just given the fact I was kind of done with the old stale 2D Mario and stuff though. Now I was going through one of these levels before, and I was like, I thought I had all the Wonder Seeds in one area, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, I hadn't unlocked the secret world entrance, to that world 9." I was like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "Gotten every wonder seed up in this thing." I was like, "What the heck?" And I knew
Yeah,
some levels they alluded to there being an alternate exit because they will tell you there's 3 wonder seeds. If you see 3 wonder seeds, you know that's the case. However, there are some levels where they will say there's only 2 and there's technically 3, but they don't tell you that. And that has stumped me a couple or few times. I was like, "Oh shoot." I found one today and I was like, "Man, it's just little things like that." I just kind of miss those old school secrets.
yeah. So all I'll say is because I would say this is a spoiler, but it's kind of BS if you don't already know. Not the wonder, the secret exits for the special world, in specifically worlds 3 and 5, kind of suck.
Oh, you're talking about the levels themselves?
Like
The secret
just like
world levels, like the world 9
no,
levels? Or you
no. I
talking
mean
about the
like
way to get to it?
the way you get to them. Have you gotten to
Oh,
them yet?
I unlocked every way to get to the world 9 levels. So
So
yeah, I
you
unlocked
have.
all the avenues, yeah.
Yeah, just the fact I don't know, the fact that you just go back into the into the
Yeah,
final
I had
level
to
of the
look that
world.
one up because I was like, "What the freak am I
Well,
doing?" I'm
all
like,
right,
"I
so
know I have everything."
I found it out. I found it out a different way. Basically, I just found it out by looking, like the menu where it shows, all of the wonder seeds for every single level, just to look at it real quick.
Uh-huh.
It will actually show a check mark next to everything that you have actually 100%ed. So
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
have gotten true 100% on a level, for example, it will show.
Oh, and you did that for almost everything but that
Yeah,
one, and that's how you figured it
yeah.
out?
It was like,
Okay.
okay, wait, yeah. I was like, wait, why is the level where I got the royal seed not have a check mark? And then I was like, yeah, probably you should go back. It would. I think it would have been interesting, especially in World 5, which have you gotten to it, you said, right?
Yeah, I done
World
every
5
level
with like
except for or not every level, every world except for the Bowser world and part of Secret World.
Yeah, so World 5, like it would have been cool, especially cuz you're down in the mines if they like stuck like a secret level down there to access it. Especially cuz in World 1, if you remember, World 1 there's like a whole alternate path with like two levels to get to the secret world.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it would have been kind of cool if every single one was like that. World 4 also kind of has that, but then for Worlds 3 and 5, not only do they not have a boss, but they also it was a bit of a rush job for the secret exit entrance.
Mhm.
But besides that, like Worlds 3 and 5 are like the bit of the exception. Everything else feels complete. Like fully it feels perfect, honestly. I
Yeah.
feel sometimes I think, "Oh, I'm giving the game way too much credit." No, I'm not. I'm not giving it enough credit. It's a Like, people gush about Mario 3 and Mario World for so long, and I love Mario 3 and I love
And I
Mario
love
World,
Mario World
but like
and 3 too.
yeah, these games just, even from like a modern standpoint, Mario Wonder still is like on that same level, I'd say.
Hmm, I would say rightfully so, rightfully
Like,
so.
not taking nostalgia into account. It
I mean,
is
yeah,
like,
because we don't have nostalgia yet. It'll be interesting to visit this topic again in, like, what, 5 and then 10 years from now,
yeah,
but
five,
yeah,
10 years, because I feel like Mario Wonder will be one of those games that people already did stop playing, but they'll go back to.
yeah. Alright, well, that was nice hearing your thoughts on, Mario 1. It's interesting how you chose the Switch title and I chose the PlayStation title, so we got a little bit of diversity right here. I could choose a lot of different Switch titles, but the one I happen to be talking about is, when I happen to play some kind of game in the series every year, yes, I'm alluding to Final Fantasy 16. I do not know how this happens to be the case, but every single December, at least these past 3 years, I played something in the Final Fantasy series. Like this year, it was Final Fantasy 16. Last year, it was Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core. And the year before that, it was obviously Final Fantasy 7 Remake, though. So somehow, I might just hold this as a tradition. Some Final Fantasy game I just hadn't played yet. I'll just take a block of time just to play in December when things start slowing down, and you might just want to go through and play some either classic games or whatnot. Though 16 just happened to be it because I know the game originally came out during the middle of summer. However, it was one of those games I looked at and I was like, I could see myself playing this one though, but not at the point of release because there was so much stuff that came out during the middle of summer. So I said I just have to hold off on this and wait until a little later in the year once, because I knew this game was going to go on sale. It did. It managed to go on sale for like $40. And then granted, with it being close around my birthday and stuff, I was able to use those funds to just pick this game up at a discounted price. And it managed to stretch it a little further because I actually managed to get, what was it? Soup uh what was it? Oh gosh, the Mario RPG one with Sparks of Hope. Yeah, I managed to get both that and Final Fantasy 16. I said 7. Final Fantasy 16 for basically the cost of what would have been just a standard Switch game though. So that was kind of crazy though. But nonetheless though, Final Fantasy 16, it's weird how it got such a weird rap of how I remember the discourse of this game. It was like some people loved it and some people hated it. Some people loved it for the sake of the action play and stuff and how it's a little bit different from your classic, Final Fantasy games. But some people didn't like it as much because it's not like an RPG game, kind of similar to your Final Fantasy 10s or your 12s and stuff like that. 'Cause I think the last truly RPG one that was turn based, if I remember right, I wanna say it was like Final Fantasy 15. It was like right before 14, I think, was the last true one. Because I think even 15 was predominantly action, and then 16 is all action though. But nonetheless, when I was going through and playing it, I was like, at first, I remember, starting it up, with it being a new Final Fantasy game, none of this stuff is like, you carry the same story over from another. It's not like that with the Final Fantasy series though. So I was looking at this, it was a lot more in the medieval setting than I originally thought it was ever gonna be. I could kind of tell, but I didn't think it was gonna be that much while going through and playing through it. Yes, I was a little confused at first, and I liked some of the action stuff, but like you only got to hit like two different special things. Or you had like two different special moves when you first started the game out in terms like the icons and stuff. So I was like, why do people like this thing? But the more and more you play it, the more you're going through and experiencing Clive's story. I wish you could experience, or been able to have more controllable characters outside of just Clive. But nonetheless, Clive had a really good story between him and his interactions with Jill and his brother Joshua, who he thought that he killed back when he was young. And you had like a couple of different time skips and stuff up in this game, though. But nonetheless, he had a really good story, made a lot of good, family tie and connections and stuff. And I was just intrigued with him, but I would say it wasn't till the point where you did the icon versus icon battles. Those were always really cool. Like you did one against Garuda and stuff. I thought it was cool and stuff though. But I was like, this game's okay. I'm still kind of seeing through it though. But the moment that you had that fight between Ifrit and Titan, oh shoot! After that point in the game, I was just hooked. Like I really want. When I wasn't playing the game, I wanted to play the game. Like, it got to that point. I was like, I was just so enthralled with the game. And then it really opens up once you have like three different icons powers at that point. Then you're able to mix and match and stuff. And then your combos and stuff get a little crazy and stuff. And then, while it might have been a little bit of a sluggish effect when you first started off the game, by the time you're this deep up in it, you can do almost anything that you want. And I was like, oh shoot. Now, in terms of like side quests and stuff, I didn't manage to go through and do all of them. I'm not the biggest component of side quests, like this, Steven. Even like in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 or 2, Torna, I was beside myself when you had to do almost a lot of those side quests just to progress the main story. That chapped my hive. I didn't like that mess. But in this one, there are some side quest things that are pretty good. I think it's the ones that had the plus icon up near it, and those ones actually give you meaningful things. Like I heard one gives you a chocobo. I don't know how I missed that one. I need to go back and do that one. There was one that gave you a chocobo, so it allowed you to traverse the world a little faster. There's obviously ones that allow you to either get hold more potions and stuff and more items like that, or even one that actually raises your potion efficiency. So like a standard potion versus the enhanced potion, you'll get a little bit more from the enhanced one though. So there are some rewarding side quests, but I wouldn't say it's super rewarding to do every single thing in the game though. Obviously, once you make your way up to the final boss, that was epic. Can't really go into that because of spoilers and stuff. I know there's probably some people out there that hadn't finished that game though. But nonetheless, I don't know why people were clamoring on Final Fantasy 16 nearly as much as what I saw out there on the Twitter discourse, though. But nonetheless, I thoroughly enjoyed this game a lot more than I even thought I would. Like this has got me intrigued. Like if this is the way how Final Fantasy is moving forward in the future with the action based thing, as long as they have really good, well written stories like this, I I'm gonna be hooked. I'm gonna be getting every new line entry from this point forward, and then obviously cherry picking through and going through and playing some of the older ones I happen to miss out on. Because I think the only ones I played is like one, played a little bit of two because I have the physical cartridge of the Final Fantasy 1 through 6. I played seven. I got halfway through 10, but I think 10 is gonna be remade in the future, so I probably won't mess with the original one. And yeah, those are all the ones I played, and then obviously 16 though. So nonetheless, if you hadn't played 16, I highly recommend it though. But man, that was my long spill, Steven. But did you have anything or any questions about this game?
I started it and never finished it.
Wait, you had the game?
I have the game.
Wait, what was the last thing you did?
Uh, I don't know. It was like after the time skip in the beginning. Like you play the whole beginning section. That the first big battle happens, and then I think I got to the part where like you save what's her name, Jill. Oh,
Jill.
whatever the female character's name is.
Yeah, Jill.
I get to the part where you save her, and that's about all I've done. And like I will definitely play more.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, definitely hop on that mess because now, after the conclusion of the Game Awards, they did announce that there's two other DLCs, two parts DLC coming. One's already out right now. It's like I think it's called Echoes War, if I'm not mistaken. But one you're able to have access to right now, and then the other one is like the Rise and Tide, which that one doesn't come out until like spring of next year though. Now, while I could jump into at least the first part right now, I think the first part is like 3 hours. I think the other one's a little more media, like at the 6 or 7 hours. But if you were to put both of them together, it's roughly about 10 hours or so. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna hold that off. I'm gonna wait until the Rising Tide comes out, and then I'm just gonna do it all in one fell swoop. So that's gonna be a solid 10 hours of me just going through and doing stuff. That's how I'm probably gonna handle it though. But nonetheless, a really good game. And it's weird because I've seen the developers go back and forth whether or not how well it sells on PC when they drop that out, whether or not they might do some stuff with playable characters for like Jill and Sid or something like that. So who's to say on that though? But this is a remarkable game. So Steven, you need to get to that, man. You need to get on it.
Trust me, I know. It's on my list.
All right, so I guess that's about it in terms of games that we wanted to gush about. Now, what about most regretted game purchases? Do you have one for that one, Steven?
I don't know. I could look at my games real quick on Steam. I can't think of any that I regretted purchasing. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe one that I didn't play. Okay, wait. Actually, I do have one. It's a good thing you said that. It's probably gonna go to Sonic Superstars.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I almost thought about this one for a
I
moment, but I actually found one worse than that.
I
But go on.
I like Superstars, but like like it just I didn't really have expectations for it, but it just felt a little boring more than anything. And that's probably a worse crime than it being horribly bad. Like it's better than Sonic 4, but like it is it's better than Sonic 1 just from a gameplay standpoint. Like it has less levels than Sonic 1 that actually made me a mad, but, like, there's just some levels and some boss fights that feel like they go on forever, and, like, I didn't really feel like I wanted to go back and replay it nearly as much as I did when Mania released. Like, Mania, I could go back and replay that, it would only take, like, an hour and a half, and I would love it all over again. I could not do it with Superstars. I could not go back and replay that game nearly as much. Everything about it just feels so much less inspired. Like, visually, it's a little bland because it's just 3D models. Music wise, oh my god, it is a mixed bag. And, I don't know, besides that, like, animation wise, I guess it's fine. Story wise, it doesn't have a story. It's confusing at best and hardly anything at worst.
Hmm.
Um, it's just one of those, like, low budget Sonic Team releases. That's the only way I could describe it. It's just another one of those like low budget, felt like, expectations were high before it came out and then it came out to nothing. I feel
That's
like the only Sonic game that ever lived up to its expectations was probably Mania.
That's interesting that you said that because I was almost thinking about this game, but then I thought of something that I thought of a little worse than this though, because I kind of agree with the sentiment on that. Like Sonic Superstars, I remember playing it, and I managed to get past what was it, the first world and maybe a little bit or whatever. I say
You
world,
got
but they call them
you got
zones and
that
stuff. But
you got that glitch where it like took you to the end on accident, right? Or
uh,
like it like
I don't know if I got
teleported
the
you to the
glitch that
final
took me to
level.
the end, but I glitched the game out, and I think I did it on stream where it's like I was falling, and I just kept falling all the way down. I don't know if I was
Yeah.
in the main hub or what, but that was weird. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I did
how the
have
heck?
that. One thing I can say that is like genuinely bad about that game though is the multiplayer. It is awful.
Really? Because I hadn't messed with it yet, but I mean,
It
you
is
probably the one
everything.
I have to with.
It is everything that people say that is bad about New Super Mario Bros. Multiplayer, but worse.
Gosh, dang.
Like, you know how people call it chaotic? Like, yeah, it's chaotic, but like at least the camera can keep up with you. Imagine playing a Sonic game, going through a loop and going really fast, and then everyone else just dies because they couldn't keep up with you.
Huh.
Because it randomly decides who it wants to follow the camera.
Oh,
It is
really? So
not
it's not. Oh,
consistent.
so it's not like
It is not.
locked, like Super Mario
No,
Bros.
it is
Wonder
not.
is when you play locally.
It would
Huh.
be so much better if it was locked, but at the same time, it's just not a game fit for single screen multiplayer. It should have been online multiplayer where everyone has their own screen.
Oh yeah, that would be
That
true. Yeah.
even if you had to wait for other people in order to move on to the next level, that would at least be better. Or if it was just races the whole time. But no, they have that shitty battle mode, which no one cares about. No one cares about the battle mode where you like survive the longest.
Yeah, because I hadn't messed with any of those, the ones that you can do online with other, whether it be friends or randos, what I hadn't messed with
Yeah,
any of
and like
those.
I think it's crossplay, which like why do crossplay?
Oh, that
Why
probably
do
messes things up
crossplay for
too.
that?
Yeah.
Of all the things to do crossplay for, you do it for your shitty battle mode? Yeah, now that I am thinking about it, it probably is my most regretted purchase in 2023. You know me. I bought that fucking deluxe edition just for
Oh, you
those
bought
Lego
the
skins.
deluxe edition.
Just for it had Lego Sonic skins. How could I not?
Oh gosh, they got you with the Lego. My
You damn
goodness.
right they did.
Oh goodness.
And I believe I trusted them. I
Yeah,
was
that
like, "Oh my god, Lego skins, you must be at least competent. It must be at least a fun enough game to where I'll go back to this multiple times to play it with the Lego skins." Nope.
Yeah, because I'm looking at that game right now. I'm not super. I'll keep it a buck 50 week. I'm not super motivated to even finish that game. I don't know exactly where I left off in that game though. And if I wanted to really motivate myself to actually go through and finish it, I would probably have to do it on stream as a little mini series, like how I'm kind of doing with Mario Wonder. Mario Wonder, I could finish that on my own, but I just want to capture, some of my, moments of the end game and stuff. I just like to go back and reflect on it though. But no, Sonic Superstars. Oh shoot, yeah, I would probably need to do that in order to motivate myself to go through and and finish that up. Oh goodness, but I can see where you're coming from.
It's just confusing how it even came to this, I guess.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that was your most regretted game purchase of the year for 2023. Mine is it was going to be that, but then I went back and reflect. I was like, what was the one Switch game I managed to get that after I played it for one session, I just stopped. Sonic Superstars was one of them, but there was one more, and and that was none other than Detective Pikachu. I look here. I was I mean, extremely looking forward to playing that game because of the stuff I saw with the first game that was on the 3DS. I just knew that this game had potential. I liked the fact that there was voice acting within a Pokemon game that we rarely ever get outside of like fighting games and stuff like that though, weirdly enough though. And I was like, man, this has got to be the game. We've been waiting on this mess since they did the Pokemon press conference thing since, oh gosh, that was like before COVID. It was like 2018, I want to say, back when they were almost trying to do those conferences like yearly until something happened and then COVID came and then they kind of stopped that and I felt like they forgot about that. But we knew from there, we knew that a game was in development, and lo and behold, they wound up dropping this game probably what would be a year before the Switches last year, though. But I was looking forward to this game immensely, and obviously, I was getting this in the same month that what Detective Pikachu, Mario Wonder, Spider-Man 2, Sonic Superstars, the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, all that stuff was coming out in 1 month. So I was like, "Oh shoot, I need to get through it and play this game and just beat it." Me, along with my IRL friend Apollo, I had him on the podcast roughly around this time last year, though. We managed to get this game, and even when I was talking to him, he was looking forward to this just as almost as much as I was. And he doesn't pick up a lot of games for like the Nintendo Switch in general, like obviously he pick up big ones like Tears of the Kingdom and stuff like that. I would say no more than 5, maybe 6 games in a given year. But and I get like I felt like a whole lot more than that, and it's not just for the Switch, PS5 as well, PC, whatever though. But me and him were both looking forward to this thing quite a bit, and even for him, he felt like he was forced to finish that game. And I was like, man, I tip my hat off to you to manage, for you to go through and finish the game, and you paid for it, so you want to get your money's worth out of it. I'm looking at this game, I'm like, I have no motivation to go back and finish this game. While yes, the voice acting is good, that's probably the best highlight of the moment within this game because when there's not any voice acting, it just feels like it drags on. It in some ways it wants to act like an Ace Attorney game, but in other points, it's like when you're trying to do your deductions and stuff and your reasonings and for reasons why someone did a certain action and you're trying to figure out well who's the culprit and all this stuff it feels like it's the answer is given to you. It's not like you have to really work for it or really have any major stakes or any consequences for choosing something wrong. Like for example, in Ace Attorney, if you wind up choosing the wrong thing or something like that within a court case room, you get so many strikes and it's like game over, go back to your last save point. You don't have anything like that. At least with Detective Pikachu. While yes, I hadn't tried to intentionally mess up, it was hard for me to mess up because the writing was there on the wall. Like you knew exactly what happened and stuff. So I feel like
Yeah.
the lack of the challenge and the lack of this fully going into the voice acting, it fully went into the voice acting despite it being a somewhat kind of easier game, I probably would have finished the game because I like myself some good voice acting in some games. The voice acting that's there is pretty good. I don't have any beef with it though. But I just feel like there's not enough. Like those cutscenes kind of come few and far in between though. But yeah, the combination between how easy it is, the lack of a whole bunch of voice acting, I just happen to just regret that one, especially since I was waiting on this game for so long.
Yeah, like Detective Pikachu comes. Didn't they revealed this coming like a while back?
Yeah, it was like back in 2018, roughly around. It was
Like,
shortly after the Switch dropped. They said we got it in development for the Switch, off the tail end of the Detective Pikachu movie that dropped off like I think a year or so before that.
did you even mention how bad this looks?
Oh, I didn't even get into that. There's some areas that look
No,
kind of good, but some
this
areas
is
it looks kind of rough.
this irks me. This is the definition of a movie game, and you couldn't at least make it look good. Come on,
Yeah, because
this
I
is
know
a
some people
movie
said
game.
like what it looked like an upres 3DS game,
It definitely.
and
It
at
is
first, I
not.
wanted to say, "No, it doesn't," and, like,
It is.
whenever they were showing it during the directs, like, maybe that was, like, pre-build footage or something like that, but then when I got the game in my hands, I was like, "Dude, it actually kinda
They have
does."
like cinematic cutscenes. Like there's a cutscene I'm watching right now. Spoilers, but it's like Mewtwo and Deoxys like fighting or whatever. I'm just watching this right now for context, and like it's animated quite well, but there's just no lighting whatsoever.
Oh, the lighting and the shading is
There no
yeah,
th-
that
there
is
is
yeah.
no lighting. There is absolutely none. Like they use the most basic lighting. There are like this looks like Unity like BS that people can make in like 5 minutes. Like Metroid Prime Remastered is on the exact same system. Metroid Prime Remastered came out this year and it is by far like the best looking game on Switch arguably. What would would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, Metroid Prime Remaster, Luigi's Mansion 3, those are just, like, good examples that are kinda
Yeah, and
up at the top of my list.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is a better example because Luigi's Mansion 3 also has a very cartoony art style. If you removed all of the lighting from that game, it would look just like this game.
Yeah, and then even when you look at Metroid Prime Remaster, like one thing I noticed when someone pointed this out on the video, like in the original Metroid Prime one, when you're going through a rainy environment, you just see rain that's just kind of falling down, whatever though. And however, on this remaster, when you point your arm cannon up at the sky, you can see the raindrops hitting your arm cannon and flowing down your arm, down your suit. Like the details on that just look really good. I was like, wait, hold the phone. But yeah, so honestly, there's games and stuff that obviously had that really good extreme polish on it though, but Detective Pikachu, this just wasn't it.
Yeah, and that was like $50 too, right?
Yeah, and it was 50. Well, hold on. It was 50 home shoot. How did I buy this game? Did I buy it I'm trying to remember. Did I buy this? Oh, I think I
And no
bought it.
matter,
No. I bought it digitally with I just I think I just used one of my vouchers. I even though I
that's
could
a waste.
I know, even though I could have used it for 60 more, there were so many games coming out in the month of October, Steven. I was like, I couldn't just afford just to go out and
You
just
could
pay
have
another
bought
fresh
Mario
whatever.
RPG.
But no, no, but that was the thing. I knew I wanted to get that one physically because I knew the value behind that. So I was like, I was gonna have to wait on
Oh,
that.
yeah, I guess so. You could have, I better example, because did you already get Mario Wonder with the other voucher?
No, no wonder
Would
I
have
picked
gotten
that one
that.
physical because I know I wanted
Oh,
that one physical. See, my
right.
options were getting limited at this point. The only other thing I could think about using that voucher for at that point was Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, or I'm trying to think what was. I couldn't even think of another one
Well,
after that
guess
because I
what?
had a
Guess
lot of
what?
these other
You're a
games.
fan of Fire Emblem, right?
I mean, and I had all the Fire Emblem games.
Then
Like I couldn't even.
yeah, then Advance Wars would have been a better bang for your buck.
Probably.
Definitely.
I mean,
Uh,
looking back at it, looking back at it after the fact, obviously, yes.
yeah, I guess the thing that sucks is that like Detective Pikachu should have been good. Like it should have been okay. It's Detective Pikachu. If you like the first one, you'll like this one. But like I have not heard that. I've heard like a lot. I have heard like a lot of people just people that played the first one and then go to this one and they're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Most of the things that you could excuse on the 3DS one are in full force. Like they look terrible here.
I think that was the reason why people like the first one better because it wasn't in HD. It was something completely new. So it had the newness factor up on there though. And granted, because it was on the 3DS, there's some things it just couldn't do. So by all means, it passed on a lot of colors and stuff. And it's not like you have 3DS games that had some voice acting, but not like a whole bunch of them that'll just have a crap ton of voice acting. I think there's like one of the Dragon Quest games on there it had a ton of voice acting though, but it's not in every game is kind of
Yeah,
known for that.
it is a very competent looking 3DS game. I'll say that.
Yeah. And I do have that Detective Pikachu on the 3DS one, so now I'm kind of curious. I'm like, well, how did the first one play? Gosh dang it! But yeah,
The thing that sucks, I'm looking at this. It's not that much, but it actually has lighting.
yeah,
There is lighting that exists. I know it's one of the main things I'm focusing on, but my god, you know how every single character has like a little text box with their face? Those are fully rendered.
hmm
Like every time Tim or Pikachu is on screen, it shows like a screenshot of them with like a really nice high quality lighting. And then the game itself just does not is not it.
yeah,
And then like the thing that annoys me the most, I didn't even buy this game and it fucking annoys me. The story is just the movie. They
yeah,
were like,
yeah.
you thought it would go somewhere different, because they were like, why even make a second game if you put the rest of your story in the movie already? Mostly, like it's mostly the same as the movie,
Hmm.
like with the big reveal.
Gosh dang. Yeah, so I probably could go longer, but I don't want to dwell on the negatives too much though. But
Yeah,
I just wanted to hear from and y'all could hear this as well from me and as well as Steven, just some of our picks from the year that weren't so hot. So if you're looking for Christmas gifts and you're still scrambling by this point, what is it? By the time this video drops, it'll be like a
right.
handful of days before Christmas. Do not get one of your buddies this game for Christmas. I would not recommend it.
Well, I feel like a kid would be fine with
I
Detective
mean,
Pikachu.
oh yeah, if you're trying to get somebody like let's say 12 plus, I wouldn't recommend one of these games for that. If they're lower than 12, that's just what they're gonna have to play for the year. Then they're probably gonna wind up liking it.
If they're lower than 12, then just download Fortnite for free.
No, man,
No,
they
that's
don't
a
need. They
bad.
don't
No,
need
no,
that.
I
That's
joke. That's a
bad, man.
that's
You're
a
gonna get them
bad that's a
hooked
bad
on
that's
gambling.
a
I'm just
bad
kidding. It's
recommendation.
not gambling, but yeah,
Yeah, no, there's tons of other games you can play that you
yeah.
don't need to spend. I can buy almost the entire Yakuza series for $50 when it's on sale
Oh yeah, those
instead of
Steam
this.
sales. Yeah.
And those are also games that mostly take place in like one area, very like story focused. Like, and those games actually look nice.
Whew,
Like, I don't
yeah,
care. I'm not that big of a stickler for graphics, but like for a game where I have to watch cutscenes a lot, yeah, I'm a little bit focused on it.
yeah. So that was some of our bad picks from the year of 2023. I'll try to get some better ones for 2024, and we'll see if I remember to talk about this, topic next year. Though we'll see if there happen to be some bad ones out there in 2024. Now, in terms of some wrap up stuff, now Sony and Nintendo, as well as Xbox, they're pretty good about giving your year end roundups in terms of how much game hours you happen to play, some of the games and stuff you managed to play and stuff, and accomplishments and some achievements and stuff. So we thought, well, it'll be nice just to kind of give our statistics from what we happen to do this year, though. So we'll start off with the PlayStation side of things, and then we'll do the Switch right after that, though. I'll let you go first, Steven. You got it pulled up on your side?
For wait, PlayStation or Nintendo, sorry.
The PlayStation one.
I started Spider-Man 2 the other day, only played like the Sandman fight. That's
Wait,
it.
wait. So what was the? Because I think the very first thing that popped up on there was your first game of the year. What was
Oh
that?
wait, the year in review? I
Yeah, that.
shit, let me see if I can even get it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
put it.
have it.
Yeah, I put the link up in your thing. While you're trying to pull that up, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry.
yeah, so let me get
Yeah,
this thing up on there.
I hardly played any PlayStation shit today.
All right, so
That's
I
why.
got it pulled up, so y'all are able to see it on my screen here real quick though. But the first game I happened to play this year was Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut. And I was like, "Wait, what the freak?" Because I thought I played this last year. I think I technically did play it in December, and it rolled into January of this year. So I forgot that I actually started off with playing this on the PlayStation. I was like, "What the heck?" But yeah, that was just one of the games I happened to play early this year, though. Um, and then I guess in terms of my big hitters, dang, I don't know how, but Hogwarts Legacy, I put 38 hours into that. It happened to be 1 hour more than what I put into Final Fantasy 16. So that is a little crazy. That is like one of those games I probably will highlight in some other video, though. I still thought that that was a phenomenal game back when I played that, and that released early this year. That was like around February or so, but that's a really good game for people that really love Harry Potter or could potentially like a, fantasy adventure game like that. I had Final Fantasy 16 at number 2 with 37 hours. Then it's a little bit of a drop off in terms of hours. I had Spider-Man 2 at 23 hours. And then, oh gosh, I had Sonic Frontiers as number 4, 23 hours there. And then number 5, I had Ghost of Tsushima at 15 hours. So that was like some of my big hitters for 2023. Let me see. What's this next tab over here? Um, okay, so it's saying I'm like a thrill seeker or whatever, yada, yada, yada. Let's see here. Well, you got to. Oh, and then it kind of gives you the month by month stuff of what you, I guess, was like the major thing you happen to play a good amount of hours in. Like, I guess the most playtime hours you had in a given month. It just like to emphasize that. So, like Sonic Frontiers, I played that quite a bit in the month of January. Like, was I logged 38 hours into that. February it was Hogwarts Legacy. March was also the same thing. I didn't play my PS5 at all in April and May. Gosh,
I
dang.
I found it. It's kind of barren. I'll discuss it when I get to mine.
All right. This is funny. I was looking at my Street Fighter 6. Gosh dang, it was only 3 stinking hours. Oh my gosh. I know I need to put more time up in the game though, but I was like, I love them 3 hours. I just had to to get back to it. Well, it was 3 hours for June and 2 hours for July. My gosh. Sea of Stars was August, but I only played that thanks to the PlayStation Plus collection, so I managed to just dabble into that game just a little bit. Didn't play nothing in September. October, I had Spider-Man 2, which honestly, really great game. That's like the highlight for PlayStation stuff. November, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I managed to bust that open. I managed to get through all of the Saiyan saga and the Frieza saga. The game's really cool. It's just a little bit competitive with the same old story arcs that we normally like to go through and do. while yes, it would be cool if I managed to play, the super arc in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but that means I have to get through the whole Cell Saga arc and the Majin Buu Saga arc just before I can get to that. I'm not even sure if that is like DLC that you have to buy separately or whatnot though. But it is a cool game. But I got enough experience out of it. But I'm just waiting for Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 at this part though. And then obviously December, as I said, my Final Fantasy month, Final Fantasy 16, and I managed to put 28 hours into that. So honestly, some good stuff there. Let's see if they got anything else. Okay. Didn't they recommend a whole bunch of stuff that you probably would like? Like I don't know. Maybe at some point I managed to get to the Horizon series at some point though. In terms of hours I played, 160 hours on the PS5. A lot more than what I thought it was, considering how I know how short it took me for me to go through and beat Spider-Man 2. So I didn't think I put that many hours up on this system, to be honest though. Um, I don't know about you, Steven. I rarely care about my trophies. I know I for sure hadn't platinum anything. I ain't got time like that. Have you ever platinum anything?
I have platinumed a couple games. I'm seeing it. Do they just let you pull up your trophies on their website?
No, not on the webs. Well, whenever you're on your wrap up thing, there's one tab and it says how many trophies you got.
Okay.
And I don't
Uh,
know if that's trophies you got within this year alone or just overall
I
period.
know for a
I wouldn't
fact
know.
just games I've platinumed. I platinumed Spider-Man Miles Morales. I platinumed Bug Snacks. There's another game I platinumed. There's a couple. There's one this year, but I'll get to that when I get to that.
Yeah, so in terms of all my stuff, yeah, the trophies was like probably the last meaningful thing. Though the rest of the stuff, I was like, ain't really noteworthy to share, or you could have saw it while looking at the screen and stuff, though. But yeah, that's basically my 2023 wrap up for PlayStation stuff in general, though. So you heard it from my side, Steven. You managed to get it up on yours now.
Yeah, so I hardly played my PS5 this year, except for like in the middle of the year. My first game was Gotham Knights in February, which it wasn't that great. It's
Dang.
just like
Okay.
it's like it makes me want to go play the Arkham games because I've heard so much better about those compared to this,
Hmm.
and that's about it. It really just was not interesting to me. Next tab. Okay, so the top 5 games I played in 2023. So I played 8 hours of Mortal Kombat 1 because I was mostly just playing that with my dad. Uh, and that just by itself was 5% of my time with the PS5 this year, and I hardly remember playing that. So that just tells you. 7 hours of my time were spent playing Final Fantasy 16, but half of that I was doing something and just left the game on.
Gosh
Played,
dang, you have a bad habit of
I
doing
know.
that, don't you, man?
Eight
I tried
hours,
not to do that.
yeah, 8 hours of Fall Guys, which it's just Fall Guys. Nothing much. I spent 15 hours playing Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach because the new DLC came out, so I had to play that. Like new free DLC came out. It's story based. It took about 5 hours, and then I just replayed the main game as well. And really, the only actual big game I played in 2023 on my PS5 so far is Devil May Cry HD Collection, which I spent 93 hours in,
Oh shoot.
and that was about 64% of my playtime this year.
Gosh dang.
So I platinumed Devil May Cry 3, which is a very difficult game to platinum because you need to do the highest difficulties. You need to play the game multiple times, and also there's like a bit of a endless like pit of 100 trials type mode. Like you gotta do like over like 100 different challenge rooms in a row without dying type of deal.
Mhm.
It's a hard game. I platinumed it. I love it. I'd play through the entire thing all over again. If that was a new game, that would definitely be my game of the year. But it's not. It's an old game. So I platinumed that game, and I played through DMC 1 and DMC 2, which are they're good. Okay, DMC 1 is good. DMC 2 is not that great.
I was about to say, I was like,
Uh, DMC 2, I don't really ever feel like playing again, but DMC 1 was good. It's like DMC 3 but worse. Uh, besides that, let's see. Next tab. It says most of the games I played were thrill seekers,
Yeah, I got the
and
same thing.
they recommended Horizon Forbidden West. I
See,
don't
they did the
care.
same thing with mine too. I was like, bro,
Yeah, they recommended Demon Souls, even though I've already played it and beaten it.
dang.
So I played 145 hours in my
Hold on, let me
PS5.
look back. I think did I beat you by 5 years? I mean, not
Yep.
5 years, 5 hours.
Well, yeah, but I probably more than half of my playtime was spent playing one game. If I actually played Spider-Man 2 to completion so far, it would have been higher. I spent a lot
No, no,
more
no. I
time
beat
on
you. I beat
PC
you
this year.
by 15 hours. Mine was
Yeah.
160. Yeah.
Trophy wise, I got 1 platinum, I got 6 gold, I got 23 silver, and 56 bronze. And that was mostly from DMC.
Hmm, okay. And yeah, that should be yeah, that was the last thing I reported on. So, yeah, you had some pretty good. The fact that you had 145 and I had 160, we were close to the same part. Granted, you put so many more hours into Devil May Cry, and I guess distributed out between a handful of few more games
Oh
on my
yeah,
side,
like
though. Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 by itself was probably about 20 hours.
I mean, yeah, because I think we both logged the same amount of hours in Spider Man
Uh,
2.
this is stupid. It shows how many sessions that I played with friends, and it just says 2.
I mean, mine, oh, I don't even think mine even showed up. Dang.
I think it literally only shows it because I played Fall Guys.
That's probably why, because at least with me and my PlayStations, like Nintendo Switch is like the ones I play with friends, but PS5 is usually just my single player experience thing. Even though I have PlayStation Plus, I just like it for getting all those other games that you manage to get that are part of the subscription based service. But I don't go and play games online outside of Street Fighter 6. And now that I managed to buy Grand Blue Fantasy versus Ryzen, just a couple of fighting games, but that is it. Let's see. But yeah, I think that's basically it in terms of the PlayStation stuff right there. So overall, some pretty good stats on that. Nonetheless, though, but I guess we'll go ahead and flip it over to the Nintendo side of things here. And since I started with the PlayStation stuff first, I'll let you start with the Nintendo stuff first,
Alright,
Steven.
I got it right here. This one I did look at a couple days ago, but I'm pulling it up again right now just to make sure. Yeah, so here we go. Here's the actual interesting stuff. On my Nintendo Switch, I played 61 total games and 968 total hours. Definitely a bit more than PlayStation.
Wait, how many hours?
968.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. So Splatoon 3, 252 hours. Tears of the Kingdom, 140 hours, and Minecraft with 79 hours. Those are
Dang.
my top 3.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, yeah, and I'm looking at this. Yeah, Splatoon 3. I definitely have opinions on that game, but I I still play it, so that speaks for itself. Tears of the Kingdom is Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, I don't have to explain myself with that game. Everyone has like 100 something hours in it. So 50% of the games I played were action, and then like 15% for both shooting and adventure. Only 6% role playing with all of the RPGs that I still have in my backlog. That makes sense.
See, you need to fix that percentage,
Yeah,
man.
you're damn right. That's a New Year's resolution is play more RPGs. Alright, for my monthly playtime, I definitely put almost all of my hours in May with 147.
Oh, which that
But
was Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
it was very evenly distributed, honestly, for playtime. August was the only lower one with 48 hours.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, October I played 127 hours. So that was another bit of a busy month for gaming. I guess for game wait, it shows days like it shows total days played.
Oh, like out of
Oh wait, no,
365?
no, total days played out of the month. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
for January it was Splatoon 3 was the most. February Splatoon 3, March Splatoon 3, April Splatoon 3, May Tears of the Kingdom, June Splatoon 3, July Pikmin 4, thank God.
Dang.
August was Splatoon 3. September was F-Zero 99, thank God. October was Minecraft. November was Mario RPG. And then December probably would also be Mario RPG. I haven't played my Switch much this month.
Uh, was that the
For
last thing?
No, the last thing is the favorite game, which I put as
Oh,
Mario
okay.
Wonder.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, that's some pretty good stuff right there. Oh, well, so I guess it's time to look at my thing here. Let's see here. All right, so I got it on the screen if you haven't been watching this on YouTube now. So all right, so let's go ahead and look at the stuff. So my first game in 2023 was Splatoon 3. What was yours again for the first one of the year for
It was
yours?
split, like the highest of all of them.
No, 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 your first game
Hours
in
wise.
2023.
First game of 2023. Did it say that? Wait.
It was the very first thing
Oh,
when you
wait.
scroll down.
First game of 2023 was the Pikmin 3 demo.
The demo.
Well,
The
because
demo.
yeah, because at the beginning of 2023 is when I played all the Pikmin games.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny. All right. Let's see here. So in terms of total games I played 30. You beat me on playtime hours, Steven. I had 600 total hours. You said 900 something, didn't you?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. So you beat me on that one. So I guess I've just been playing a little less than you. I don't know. Because where do you play Fortnite on? Do you play it on the Switch?
Hell no. Fuck
Oh.
that. I have a computer. I have a
Oh.
computer. That
But
would be
weren't
a
you? Oh, okay. Okay.
it would
Okay.
be like stupid to play it on Switch when I have a computer. Even on lowest settings on computer, it looks better than Switch.
Hmm.
And I'm not exaggerating.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, let's see here. Most games played this year. Let's see here. Number one was Splatoon 3 with 265 hours. I felt like that was close to your number, roughly. Um,
Yeah, something. It was close actually, relatively close on that.
Now my Tears of the Kingdom. It was funny how you said everybody put over 100 hours. I did not put over 100 hours in the Tears of the Kingdom. I put 79 toasty hours up in that mess. I managed to do as much as I wanted to. I know I didn't explore all the depths or did everything up in the sky, but I managed to get my Master Sword. I saw all the visions and stuff. I got every little bit of cutscene stuff wanted to see up in the game. There was like some side adventure stuff. Like what was it? Oh, what's that dude? That's um starts with a K, I think. The Yiga clan boss dude. I know I didn't
Master Koga.
yeah, Koga. I know I didn't do all of his stuff, so there's a couple of side adventure things I could have done like that. That if I were to boot up the game, that's probably what I'll try to finish up. But
His are
yeah.
by far the highlight for me. Just if we're talking about side quests, he's got some of the best.
Hmm. So yeah, that was my second one. Gosh dang, my number three most gameplay hours played of the year was Fire Emblem Engage. Holy shoot. Oh goodness. Well, I guess it just took that long just to get through the main story, even though I was really the gameplay is great, phenomenal. But I made a review on this thing though and everything, and I just could not vibe with the art style, and I could not vibe with that gosh dang story. I didn't even finish the DLC for that game, and that says something right there. Like, what the
For
heck?
Engage.
Yeah, for Engage. So I'm like, what the heck?
I feel like with the very little amount of Fire Emblem I play, I'd probably like the game, but not story wise. I don't know. It just looks like one of those like fanfic esque stupid ass
It really
games.
kind of is because it's an anniversary game at the end of the day as well, and I think that kind of watered down the potential of what could have been a story up in this game because it kind of had to center around that versus having its own unique identity without pulling from the series history in that regard. So, ugh, I don't know. But yeah, so that was it for most games played of the year. In terms of my little percentages for gaming trends, 39% was action, 24% was shooting, which that was all Splatoon 3 right there. 13% was adventure. Dang, how was my RPG only 13%? I feel like adventure and role playing is it's weird how they split those up. But if I were to put those together, it's 26. So I guess it's kind of I play a lot of RPGs. can't remember how many I played on the Switch, but I mean, like I know I played Octopath Traveler 2 and stuff like that though, but strategy was 10 and classic games was like a measly 1% right there. Let's see here. Most games played was in the month of March. Oh, that's what the let me see all of this. Uh, yeah, okay. So January was my Fire Emblem Engage. February was Splatoon 3. March, same thing. April, same thing. Okay, May was Tears of the Kingdom. And we went back to Splatoon 3 in June, July, August, September. October was Mario Wonder. Okay. November back to Splatoon. And and it doesn't show December though. That's funny though. But yeah, you can just tell it's like Splatoon's that one game I go back to once I'm done with whatever game I'm on right now. My favorite game of the year 2023, I cannot answer that because I got to save that for a future video. So unfortunately, I ain't gonna tell y'all the answer on that one. And that's about it. That's about it right there. So pretty good statistics, I would think overall with my stuff. Was there anything I said, Steven, that kind of stood out to you?
I'm more surprised than anything else this year that you actually played Pikmin 4. I'm proud of you.
Bro, I told you I like the Pikmin
No, I
series. I
know,
don't have
I
any
know.
beef
Well,
against it.
no, because no, just because I forgot Pikmin 3 I know you liked, but like Pikmin 1 I forgot if you said you fully
No,
played.
Pikmin 1 I played that in the dentist growing up, but I never managed to fully finish the game. And 2 I have no experience on whatsoever.
Well, yeah, no, it just did not seem like the type of game that you'd vibe with personally
Well,
to me. But I'm
it
glad
kind
you
of
did
makes
because I
it
love it a
kind of
lot.
makes sense why I would because of the strategy behind it, and I like
Yeah, that's
Fire
like
Emblem,
the main
so
thing.
that's probably where I'm pulling that from. It's a different approach when you're dealing with multitasking and doing it all live versus a turn-based approach with Fire Emblem. So that's probably why I still like it. There's strategy going up in it, but it's just a different form.
Yeah, it's great though.
Whew, but yeah, so I think that about does it in terms of all of the stuff for our year-end recaps for 2023. Now, keep in mind, this is just our personal preferences with our statistics. At the start of the new year, whenever our podcast or the podcast resumes, we'll go over the year-end review, which will cover everything from Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. Because news will be very slow, so it'll be split in half. It'll be like the first half will be talking about everything from January to June, and then the second half will be from like July to the tail end of December. Just giving our brief thoughts, just real quickly, because there's gonna be a ton of games. We just want to make sure we go over every game that happened to drop out in 2023, and just give a little bit of a spotlight shine on just everything, just a little bit, even if it's just for a moment, though. But yeah, that's just a little bit of information for some things to come, though. But overall, I thought 2023 was a pretty solid year, though. But that's going to basically do it in terms of our 2023 gaming experiences right here. So now we're going to go ahead and flip over to the very last segment of the show, that being our holiday traditions. All right, so yeah, it's about that time of year, obviously. As a time of whenever this thing is scheduled to be going here live for y'all, we will be roughly about 5 days away from Christmas happening, for those that happen to celebrate that. That happens to be me and you, Stephen, though. But I just want to take the time out just to kind of go through and just give our overall our holiday traditions, what we like to typically do around this time of year. It can be anything from the favorite music you like to listen to, some things that you might happen to be doing with your family, or favorite foods, especially the desserts. Like, now's the time not to hold back. You got to eat them sweets. You might gain 10 pounds, but that's what the New Year's for, with those New Year
Hell
resolutions, to
yeah.
burn it right back off. And then yeah, we'll be talking about that stuff. We'll save the gaming memories for a little later though. But what do you want to share, Steven?
I've been watching Christmas movies. Watched all of the Home Alone movies again. I didn't know that there was s- I didn't know that there were six of them. Did you know that there was?
I thought you told
Yeah,
me this in the last episode. You were like, yeah, there
you
was
damn
like
right I did.
six or something like that.
I forget. Yeah, honestly, those movies kind of gave me a bit of dementia. I've never been I haven't been the same since I watched them.
bro.
Especially 4. Home Alone 4 is awful. Do not watch it.
No, I only stick with watching the first two.
Oh yeah, the first two are great. But like yeah, but besides that, been watching other ones. Watched the live action Grinch with Jim Carrey. It's a classic. Uh Another one I've watched. There's this one which it's called Violent Night. It's like a Christmas movie inspired like mixed with John Wick,
Hmm.
where basically it's like Santa arriving at this house that's being robbed and like killing everybody. He's like defending the house and brutally murdering all of the
Gosh
intruders.
dang, is that a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
It is a Christmas movie because he is the good guy. Like I said, it's like John Wick,
Uh,
where he's more defending himself and like protecting like this child that's in the house. But it's a fun movie. Um, had a lot of fun watching that one. I watched that in theaters last year, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that this year.
okay, okay.
Besides that, other movies, probably gonna watch. Have you ever watched Klaus on Netflix before?
Watch some things off of Netflix. Netflix is not like my go-to streaming platform. I'll watch some
Yeah,
things off on there if it's something I'm really looking forward to. Like I just figured out like what the Gran Turismo movie is actually on Netflix, and I said in like I think it was the last episode I wanted to watch that movie. So one of my friends pointed that out. I was like, oh shoot, I guess I'll make
yeah.
time to watch that. But if it
So,
ain't something like that, not a
so there's
lot.
a
But I hadn't.
so there's a movie. It's called Claus, like Santa Claus with a K, and that movie is really good.
Hmm.
It's like it's animated movie. It's animated in 3D, but like they specifically like tuned it to look 2D. I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to watch it to see what I mean, but it is a great Christmas movie. I had a lot of fun with it. You have J.K. Simmons in there, some other popular voice actors, but like overall, it was just like a very cozy movie more than anything.
Okay. Okay.
I'd recommend. Besides that, you have most of your classics. I'm interested in watching, like like I said, the Home Alones, the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, all of those.
Yeah, because I watched the first Home Alone with my family already, and I think my mom and them and sister, I think they already watched the second one without me because I was doing something up here though. But yeah, I usually sit down and watch either one of those two or both of those every year. So those are good ones. Yeah.
It's gonna be yeah. I'm just gonna be watching a lot of those. Already did all my Christmas shopping. Really.
Wait, so
Uh,
let me ask you this: when did you finish your Christmas shopping?
I bought all of it at once. So
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
last thing came about 2 days ago.
Dang.
I spent oh, it was like I bought basically $500 worth of stuff all at once, and over the course of 5 days, it was all being delivered to my house.
Yeah, I think you beat me on it because I didn't finish the last bit of my stuff till like the tail end of last week. And I'm waiting for my last stuff to come in. It's either supposed to come in what Thursday or Friday is when the last a little bit of stuff of my stuff's supposed to come. I'm finished with it now, but that's when the last of my stuff. Obviously, like the stocking stuffers and stuff. You just kind of have to sneak out the house at some point, get that stuff, and like keep it to where none of the other members in your family are going to spot it or see it and stuff. And then I have like a secret Santa kind of a secret Santa-ish thing. I gotta go out and get something for that though too. But yeah,
I gotcha.
let's see here. But yeah, was there any other traditional holiday seasonal things or traditions you normally do?
Regarding traditions, not necessarily compared to like what people usually do. I don't really have anything interesting going on. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I can't really describe it in a way like that.
okay.
It's not like what I do for Christmas is relatively interesting. Like, we have a tree up. We bought a tree a couple days ago.
Wait, whoa,
stuff
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
that.
whoa, whoa. That's interesting right there. You said you bought a tree a couple of days ago?
Yeah,
Wait, hold on. Is this like a real tree or is this like an
yeah,
artificial tree?
like a real tree.
See, now talk about that because I was like, at least here in the South where I'm at, we have artificial trees we throw up in our attic, and then when the season comes around right after Thanksgiving, then we put it up, and when the season's over with, we put it back in the attic. I'd never actually been either visit somebody outside of the scene in the movies where when people get a Christmas tree, they get an actual live tree. Seen that stuff in like Lowe's and stuff before, but our family never was one to do that. So like, tell me how y'all did all that.
We just have a place right behind my job where we go and buy a tree.
So they got it like all cut up for y'all, everything. You don't have to like.
It's all cut up. They have like a machine where they just literally push it through and it puts it in a net.
Hmm. Okay.
It's surprisingly simple. I thought it'd be kind of complicated too. I get what you're saying. But no, we went there and it was like $60. We paid for the tree and we got it.
Wait, so how tall is the tree? Like, is it like 5 foot something or 6 foot something?
It's like a bit more than 6 foot. It's tall enough to where it doesn't break through our ceiling, but we kind of reach the top of it.
Oh, okay, okay. And it ain't like when you look inspect the trees and stuff, you're not looking in there and seeing like a little squirrel's nest, a little rat's nest, or something like that up in there. Because holy shoot, oh, dang,
No.
I'll say my little story on that when I get to it though. But like, dang, I feel like something will be up in that tree or something.
No, it's all legit. It's just a little messy, but that's just because obviously it's a real tree. Like it's
Now,
got
do you stick the tree in like a bowl of water or something like that to keep it fresh? Like, do y'all do that or no?
oh, like the thing at the bottom of it.
Yeah,
I think there's water in it. Yeah.
because I remember like in the National Lampoons, it's like they have like a real tree in their living room, and I remember the dog like looking from the tree water or whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. I don't really know the specifics myself even, but like I'm pretty sure it's that.
Hmm, okay, okay. Well, that's interesting. Maybe one year, I guess, whenever our family wants to get creative or something like that, we may do that. I don't know, but it'll be an experience nonetheless.
So what, do you buy like an artificial tree or do you just
Yeah,
not have one?
we just have an artificial tree and we just put that up year over year, so we never go out and buy live trees every time. Because over the course of the year, if you keep using that same tree, you wind up basically saving that money versus spending 60 here, 60 there, 60 there, and in the course of over 5 years, you spent $300 when you could have just bought the tree for like what 120, 150. Yeah, when you
Yeah.
just do the math out like that. Especially since when you got buy a pre-lit one or, trees that are artificial and stuff, they can come pre-lit. So, like, our tree is like when you plug it into the outlet, it lights up. You stick another connecting part of the tree that has X amount of more branches on there, and the bolt actually goes up the base of the tree, so it's not like you have to plug in another outlet thing and just have all the lights string together and just putting the plugs in. It's just like the second you put it into the base itself, then it sends the current up the center part of the tree. So it's actually really nice whenever we do it like that. So it just makes things kind of convenient.
Yeah, I get that.
Was it?
Um
Oh yeah. Was there any other thing you want to share?
Christmas wise, not really, mostly because we really haven't done most of the stuff we usually do yet. Like, on Christmas, usually like my plan for Christmas, it was always like, going by my dad's on Christmas Eve and my mom's on Christmas Day, but I will basically only be with my dad this year. So
Okay.
yeah, like it's gonna be relatively simple. I'm excited to open presents and all that. Like I got a decent amount of stuff. It's really about it. Like it's gonna be a relatively basic Christmas. I haven't really gone all out or anything.
All right. All right. Nothing wrong with that. Just kind of keep it simple, keep it local. Because I know some people they go out traveling for Christmas Day and stuff like that. But
Nah, not doing that.
Yeah, just keep it simple. Stay at home. All right. Well, in terms of my stuff, it ain't truly Christmas until the day after Thanksgiving when you're done stuffing your face with turkey and stuff and you lay down in your food coma and it rolls around to be that Black Friday and then you play Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. That's the coming in song for the holidays right there. That's when you knew Christmas is really on and it's time to shop until you drop, or at least shop until you lose enough money, and then then you kind of go from
Yeah.
there though. But yeah, I
I
like
if
that song.
it's basically dropping at that point.
Yeah, I like that song. I always like Carol of the Bells, the one that's like the instrumental one. That's like the
Yeah. The
dun,
really
dun, dun, dun.
dramatic
It has
one.
like
Yeah,
yeah, that,
really.
that rock one. You know what I'm talking
It's
about?
I know the like the specifically the rock one. I remember because it was in the cartoon Regular Show, which I don't know if you've watched Regular Show
I
before
have
on
seen
Cartoon
some
Network.
episodes. It's not like my favorite series, but I have
But
seen some
yeah,
stuff because it
there's
pops
like
up
an
on Twitter all
episode.
the
There's
time.
like an episode. There's like a Christmas episode where it's like, it's like it's very dramatic with like Santa. Like it's at the end of the episode, but like they're in a volcano or something, and that just starts playing, and it was like the most ridiculous shit ever. Just like this overly dramatic Christmas song playing while they're having a showdown in a volcano, and I remember it specifically because of the Regular Show episode.
Yeah. And I think another song I like is "Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time," whatever the actual proper name of that song is. I always like that one because I think the version I remember that I always got to hear all the time. Like there's certain songs you associate with certain movies because it just happened to be the first time you heard it. That's essentially what happened with that song. Because we all know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and stuff, the classic one that's like the stop motion one. Like we know that, or we know that one. But
Yeah.
the song that I refer to comes from, it's like a different one. I have it like on a VHS tape. Like, you know anything about them VHS tapes, Steven, or are you too young for that?
Well, I know what a VHS tape is,
No,
like
I
what
mean,
about
I
them
know you probably
necessarily.
know what it is, but like, did you grow up using them? That's what I meant.
No, I didn't grow up
Okay.
using them. I was, back in, like DVDs, just basic ass DVDs when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
before Blu-ray. Okay, okay. Yeah, because I used to have that Rudolph movie up on VHS, and it was something that like me and my brother used to always really like to listen to, all the time and stuff. Or I said listen to, watch all the time and stuff. So for those that happen to know the one I'm talking about, it's the one with oh gosh, it's dang, I really want to say Cruella, and I'm like, no, that's Disney. That is not it. There's like this witch up in the show, and she was like white and blue. I'm trying to remember her gosh dang name. Um Stormella. If that name is ringing some bells, that's the version of Rudolph I'm talking about right there, Stormella. But yeah, so honestly, I really do like that song and also that movie as well, though. In terms of Christmas movies, um, I would say I think some of like my tried and true ones, and I felt like I said this maybe in the last holiday special from last year. I think the big three is always The Grinch, Elf, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Like those are the three I usually will always watch my family every single year, and you can never go wrong with any one of the three. I think the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I think is like my number one favorite one. I don't know. You know how many times you go through and watch a movie, Steven, and it's like they'll say something, and you'd be like, "Wait, I just missed that." I don't know. Every time I happen to go through and watch that movie, I'm like, I always pick up on something else I just happen to miss though. But that movie is just an all time classic. I really love and enjoy that one though. And then
Yeah, it's good.
obviously you go through and watch some of those classic ones like classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Shiny New Year. What was it? The one with the Year Without Santa Claus, because is that the one with the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser one?
Yes, that is Year
Yeah.
Without a Santa. Yeah, that one's great. Made all of those movies, like all the classic stop motion ones, are all made by a company called Rankin Bass. Basically, everything they've made is great, Christmas wise.
Yeah, and I always like that song that the Snow Miser and the Heat Miser come out. They're like, na 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 dum dum
It's
na na
basically the highlight of the whole. Yeah,
mm, mm. I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. That's right. I'm Mr. White something something.
Icicle.
I'm Icicle. I'm Mr. Ten and Below. Down, down. Friends call me Snow Miser. Whatever I touch starts to freeze in my clutch. Ha ha. I'm too much.
It's
I,
great, yeah.
I could keep going on and then obviously do the Heat Miser version though, but man, that's some good stuff right
It's
there though.
memorable. It's probably yeah, it's to this day, and that was like 50 years ago. Those were like in the 60s, I'm pretty sure. And they're still that memorable to this day. That is power right there.
It really is, and it's weird because it's like I'll be talking to some of my younger cousins and stuff, and I'll be like, "Hey, do y'all know about this show?" And they'd be like, "Look, I don't like that stuff." I'm like, "What are you talking
Wait, like the
about?"
stop motion
Yeah,
ones?
I think
Ah,
I
fucking
think there's
Zoomers.
I think that's a little bit of a disconnect between like really younger generations. Like they don't gravitate to that as
People
easily.
are stupid, Zard.
I'm
Don't
like,
mind them.
I don't
Don't
know.
mind. Don't mind the kids that don't know better.
I Hey, the kids that don't know better is gonna be taking care of us one day, Steven. I'm just saying.
And
But
guess what? I'd rather kill myself than have a Zoomer take care of me.
well, you say that now. You say that now,
I mean it now.
bruh.
Like honestly, they'll probably be like, "Where's the touch screen on the life support?"
Mm,
That's what they're gonna be fucking saying.
bruh. But yeah, so there's stuff like that I really do like and enjoy in terms of like the classic shows and stuff. You can never really go wrong with that. And yeah, so I feel like it's always within the last 12 days of the year, or 12 days of the year, 12 days before Christmas. That's when you really start to bust out. Oh, I knew something slipped from my mind. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this version before? But the 12 Days of Christmas, not the traditional one, Steven, but there's a 12 Days of Christmas Shrek version. Have you heard that?
I have not. What the fuck?
You need to look that up on YouTube one day. Like it's like on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a fire breathing dragon just for me. Yeah. On the second day of Christmas, our true love gave to me two oh shit, what was it? Two
I'll
weenie
look it.
rats and a
I'll
fire
look it
breathing
up. That
dragon for
sounds
me.
funny though.
Yeah, but it's funny. Look that mess up, and and y'all happen to be listening or watching this podcast, y'all definitely look that up because you get a kick out of that. Though I had this, back when we had CDs for our computers before we don't have CD drives on our computers hardly anymore now, but. I had that CD and I had that Shrek tunes up on there, and that's how I was listening to that. I don't know how in the world I managed to get that. It's the weirdest story though, but nonetheless, that's just really good. But yeah, those are some things I like music, show wise, and stuff. In terms of standard Christmas traditions, we usually always go to my grandma's house on Christmas Eve to play some games, eat some food, and usually do like Dirty Santa. And we usually like have like an activity like that. The younger cousins usually will get like when I say younger, it's like everybody below the age of 18. We usually get dedicated gifts from like all the aunts and uncles and stuff like that, and then my grandma. And meanwhile, everybody that's older than the age of 18, we play in Dirty Santa. So we just bring a gift and the traditional rules of Dirty Santa. That's usually
I
our
do
holiday
not.
tradition.
I do not know what Dirty Santa is.
You really don't know what that is?
I do not.
It's literally like you bring a gift, and people usually will set a budget aside, and then you bring that gift, and then everybody pulls like a number out of a hat, like make one through whatever, how many people you got playing. The first person will go first and pick something off of the table, unwrap it, they'll see it. The second person will go next. They can either choose to steal something that somebody already had open, or they can go up with a random chance and pull something fresh off the table. Now, a gift can
Huh.
only be stolen two times. Once it's been stolen twice, whoever received it
Ima-
last, it's locked and
imagine
it
like
can't be stolen
opening.
no more.
Imagine opening like a PS5 and someone just fucking
Oh,
snatches
that's
it.
why there's limits on this mess. You only bring like gifts of like what, $20, maybe $15. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing super expensive.
I was
I
gonna
could
say
not play
some
Dirty Santa
fights would
with something.
start over
I
that.
could not play Dirty Santa where the limit was like 500 and everybody was bringing something like I'd be willing to fight somebody at that point. And I'll be
Yeah.
like, dang. But yeah, it's never like that. But it's always fun just to kind of interact with your cousins and your aunts and uncles and stuff like that, your parents and stuff. But yeah, that's always a fun little event we do on Christmas Eve. However, because Christmas Eve falls on a Sunday, I usually go to church on a Sunday though. We actually doing this mess on a Saturday, which I'm like, oh
Hell yeah.
shoot. So it's technically gonna be on the 23rd. So since Eve's gonna be a little weird this year, so we're gonna be doing some first for my family this year. And then Christmas Day, it's the usual open up the presents, stock and all that stuff. And we always have a habit of eating blueberry surprise. It's basically like a almost like a blueberry desserty casserole stuff, but we eat it for breakfast. So yeah, it's really good. It's like blueberries, add some like cream cheese stuff up in there. The crust is like, Pillsbury croissant stuff, but then you put like powdered sugar and stuff on the top. That's usually my tradition between Christmas Eve and stuff that happens on Christmas Day. I think there was oh yeah, and there was one more thing I wanted to share. This was like a little mini story that happened. It's not necessarily related with a game, which we'll talk about immediately next. But I did want to say this because I don't think I mentioned it last year though. But whenever you were talking about getting a live tree, there was one time we got our tree out the attic one year, right? And this was before we had the new one I was telling you about, where it's like pre-lit and you can just easily attach it and it all lights up real easily. It was the tree before that, and we pulled it out of our attic one year, and then we set it all up in the thing. We're all sitting around our couches and stuff, and we're just chilling on our own bit. And then we heard like a little squeak, and we were like, "What the heck?" And like, I was like, "Y'all hear that?" And they're like, "No." And then we heard it again. We're like, "No, we heard something." We got up, and then we looked up in that tree, and the whole and I think it's actually when we were about to build it, about to put it up. Luckily, it wasn't already fully assembled though. But we were listening. We put our ear down to it. Some mouse got up in the attic and took like the insulation and stuff that's off the walls and stuff. Basically, built little nests up inside the tree itself and laid babies all up inside that mess. I was like, "What on earth is this?" Most disgusting thing I've ever seen, though. But we had to put on gloves, pull that stuff out the tree, and then take it outside and just chunk it over there into our pasture. I was like, "What the heck?" I was like, that was the freakiest little thing I think we ever that we ever had. The closest thing that you would see in like a Christmas movie, like remember with the lampoons where it's like the squirrel got in the house and the dog was chasing all the way around. That's probably like our closest moment to that. It was just gross, but luckily it wasn't like any adult mice that were just starting to take off somewhere, or luckily it wasn't like a rat or something. If there was a rat, oh shoot, I would have had some family members passing out though. But yeah, you hadn't had any crazy stuff happen to you like that, Steven, have you?
No, I haven't had any crazy moments like that. Probably for the best.
Okay, whew, well that's good. All right. Well, that's pretty much it in terms of standard Christmas tradition. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up here with the very last thing, that being our gaming moments in Christmas past. Whether it been a game we got, a console, or something like that, just some kind of memorable moment that stood out that you always kind of remember that you just want to share a story with. So I'll let you go ahead and take it over, Steven.
So, at least for me, probably my most memorable Christmas moment is it was either 2008 or 2009 when I got my Nintendo Wii and also Mario Kart Wii on the same day. And that basically is the, like me gaming is the result of that. I wouldn't be playing games if it wasn't for Mario Kart Wii.
You
So
said
that game
2007, 2008?
like 2000 oh no, 2008 or 2009. The game came out and I'm pretty
Oh,
sure 2008.
okay, okay.
Yeah, and then obviously after that I got like Mario Galaxy and all that, but that's basically where I started playing games.
Oh,
Was
so
with
you started, so the Wii was technically your first console.
the Wii was technically my first console, yes.
Okay, okay. Oh yeah, that's pretty. And you said you had Mario. You said Mario Kart Wii was your
Yes.
launch game. Did you have another one with it, or was it just that one?
It was just that one, but it was a great one to have.
Okay,
I
okay.
remember playing that a bunch with my cousins.
Hmm.
And I didn't really play many other games with them, but like it was fun to play that.
Yeah, because I think when I had our Wii, when we got it, because remember the Wii, when the Wii was first released, that craze was crazy. Like that
Yeah,
was the one era I remember we had it. My uncle and aunt had it. My other aunt had it.
yeah.
Like everybody had it, and where you went to one, went to your family member's house, you were able to play the Wii just like how you were at home. It's like the only system that was just unanimous how big it hit the casual audience like that. I think I had
Yeah, I
Mario
remember.
Kart. What
So
was it? Mario Party 8, some Brunstick Bowling, and Mario. What was it? Paper Mario, Super Paper Mario. I think those are the three I started off on.
good games, good games.
Except for the Brunstick Bowling, that one kind of got chunked in the track. Oh, besides obviously the built-in Wii Sports, obviously that's a given. But yeah, oh yeah, because you must have played a lot of Wii Sports with yours, didn't you, Steven?
Yeah, I played like every single week. Like my family, we'd get we bowling up.
Oh, yeah. My family was the same thing. Those bowling tournaments were real. I think it was the bowling and the tennis were like the most competitive ones. Oh, but between me and my brother and my cousin, we went hard on the boxing, especially once we managed to get that nunchunk, because then you're able to do it. But yeah, whew, man, good times right there. Good times. Any other thing you wanted to elaborate on that?
Nah, just the Wii was definitely like the best time to have like Christmas stuff. I got my Wii U on during Christmas time, obviously, like a month after it came out. But like the Wii U's not that special.
Okay, okay.
Like I do remember. I guess the only thing I'll say about me getting the Wii U is that like my parents they put New Super Mario Bros. U inside of a shoebox
Oh, to
because
try to throw you
basically
off.
yeah, well, yeah, because they didn't. Obviously, it comes with Nintendo Land, but they didn't want to tell me about that. Obviously, they didn't want to. Well, yeah, they didn't put another game in the box. So, I was like, okay, got the system, got Nintendo Land, and then I opened up some shoes, and then under them was New Super Mario Bros. U. And I'm like, holy shit, a game!
Eh, yeah.
And then, yeah, putting that game in with the shoebox was definitely, you know, it's funny to remember. Besides that, though. I don't think I got that many other big Christmas presents that are memorable to me.
Well,
Like,
hold up on those because it's like if you share the Wii one, we'll probably be here and same thing next year. I had to actually look back at the last episodes, make sure I didn't share the same story again.
but yeah, it's great. Uh, Christmas time's probably my favorite season. Winter in general is my favorite season, but we haven't gotten snow yet.
Oh yeah, you're probably lucky you hadn't gotten stuff. Oh, do
No,
y'all normally get
no.
white Christmases almost all the time up there, or
We
what?
used to.
Hmm.
We used to get a lot more than we do now. Trust me.
Man, I think I only had one. I think I only had one white Christmas that I could recall upon, and I think I didn't even check the weather. I don't think we're having a white Christmas this year either, though. But yeah, I think it was only one time I remember that, and I was like, "Gosh, dang!" But no, this far down in the south, yeah, that ain't gonna be a thing. Let me see here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Nah, yeah, we're gonna have the rain. The rain will be there. It just ain't gonna be cold enough. Yeah, it's like low of 38, high of 57, so it ain't happening. So I had one of the two, but yeah. All right, so those were some pretty good ones you had right there, Steven. I think last year when I mentioned the in the holiday special, I gave my story with the Wii U one. So if you're curious to hear that one, then just look up the holiday special for last year though, and you'll see that story though. But for this one, I have to go back a little bit further. Yes, I'm referring to the Nintendo DS, not 3DS, DS. Now, because I remember this one, because I remember, back in the day, before I had the DS, I had the Game Boy Advance, the SP, the silver one. I had that one up in my hands. And I played everything, like, the Fire Red, the Pokemon Emeralds and stuff. I'm trying to think, did I even own any Mario games on the GB? Oh, shoot. I have to brainstorm on that one a little bit though. But like Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3, I know I had those. So yeah, I really love the GBA era for at least the games I had. And then, that one Christmas I happened to get it. ooh, ooh, you know what? I'm hoping this is Christmas and it's not my birthday, but I'm still gonna roll with the story anyway, though. But I managed to get this, and I was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "What is this system?" And I was like, because at the time, I knew gaming and stuff like that, but that young, you don't know what's coming up next. It's just only what your parents presented with you, though. And I got that Nintendo DS, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Thank you so much." And then my mom was like, "All right, now that you got this, you got to give up your Game Boy Advance." I was like, "Say what
Damn.
now?"
Well,
I was
it was
like,
just was it a plain DS?
Yeah, we're talking about the fat style DS, the
Oh,
silver
then
one.
you could at least play your Game
But
Boy
that was the
Advance
thing, I didn't
games.
understood that back then. So when she said you gotta give your Game Boy Advance to your brother, I was like, "Heck no, I ain't."
Did
I was
she
like,
explain?
I was upset. I was highly upset at first. And she did go back and read the stream. It's like, "Well, no, this system, you're still gonna be able to play your GBA games." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay, I guess it's fine." But deep down in my heart, this is where the gaming side of things, I guess, started to build up within me because I really wanted to have every system that I ever owned and keep it, even though it could be backwards compatible. Like moving from a Wii to a Wii U, or we see that a lot with like DS or 3DS and stuff like that. I still like to have it, even though that DS, I still have it to this day. It's halfway torn up, like the hinge on the right hand side kind of popped up and whatnot. I still have it, even though it's like halfway functioning, only one screen works. It'll be really hard for me to part off with a piece of gaming technology that just happened to be memorable to me and have like a bit of nostalgic past and stuff. Like it's just hard for me to kind of part from stuff like that, though. But I do remember, I think the first couple of games I managed to have for that system, it was what was it? It was, I think I had Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. And did I have Mario Kart for the DS? I'm trying to remember on that one though, because it's weird. Like I know all the DS games I had, but it's hard to remember exactly what were the very first ones I had though. But I definitely remember having that one, the Partners in Time one, kind of early on. But yeah, so I had some good games for that, some fond memories. Obviously, the Pokemon era with Diamond and Platinum, and the rest was like, the rest was a wrap. Gen 4, Gen 5 was great on that console. Like Pokemon, shoot, it's been a while since we had high days back in the Gen 3 through 5 era though. But nonetheless, that was a great gift. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if that was a birthday gift or a Christmas gift because my birthday's in November, Christmas is in December, so it's really easy to overlap those two things. But nonetheless, though, that was a fun moment, at least in my gaming history, right there, though. With that one system right there, so it's one system I'll never forget because usually I always got my systems where it be birthday or Christmas, usually Christmas, especially for the family systems though. But I wanted to, avoid the Wii U story, so I threw out my DS story though. So good times right there, good times.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely, the being a kid for Christmas was more interesting than being an adult for Christmas.
That is
But
true because now you're responsible for buying gifts for almost everybody, and by the time you
yeah,
do this budgeting stuff, and it's like, what the heck? Yeah, it's a whole nother story being an adult in Christmas and being a kid for Christmas, not having a care in the world except for on December 25th when you get to open up your gifts. I know some people out there technically open one gift early on December 24th. Was that you?
yeah.
Or
Well, I opened everything at my dad's on December 24th, so
dang, so
I
you
was
left nothing for Christmas Day. No, I can't do that.
no, I was by my mom's on Christmas Day and I opened stuff
Oh,
there.
so you got a
You know,
double dose. Okay, okay,
yeah, like
okay.
being having parents that were divorced definitely does that.
Yeah. Okay, I see it. I see. Whew. But yeah, so I think that's about it in terms of at least my holiday traditions in terms of, just in general, as well as about a little bit of gaming stuff. And I think that's basically about it. But before we almost about to close out this thing, was there any other thing, holiday thing that you wanted to mention, Steven?
Nah, just looking forward to the holidays, hoping I get some kind of snow close to here.
All right, man. Well, hopefully you get that snow because I know for sure I ain't getting that snow. I wish I would, but we ain't lucky like white Christmases over here, though. But yeah, that's basically gonna do it in terms of my our holiday special right here, though. So overall, it was really good. It was really nice. Nice talking with you, Steven, and just going through our gamer moments of 2023. Just talking about a few news topics. You know, RIP. To E3 right there though. But yeah, this was the holiday special for 2023 right here though. But from myself as well as Steven and the rest of my crew here that work on my channel though, I hope everybody has a very happy holiday in general, whether you celebrate Christmas or some other holiday in general though. I just hope you have a very happy holiday, or even if you don't celebrate the holidays, I hope you just have a wonderful day right here though. But Steven, go ahead and let the fine people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at Steven Jr. 1231. About it.
Alrighty. And yeah, so like what I said earlier, this is going here live on my channel on December the 20th, unless I randomly happen to change my mind though. And this is technically going to be the very last podcast episode of 2023 right here though. So the next time we'll come back, since this is kind of weirdly dropping out a half week earlier than what I normally have to drop on Sundays and stuff, the next time I actually will plan to go here live here on my channel for the podcast will be on January 7th. So the first Sunday of the new year, that's the tentative date of when I'll resume my podcast episode again, though. So yeah, just kind of keep all of that in mind, though. But that's the play right here. So we'll be taking the next few weeks off, just enjoying the Christmas holiday as well as the new year and stuff, and try to bring that on in, and hopefully we get off to a really good start for 2024 though. So this isn't necessarily going to be the last time you're going to hear my voice before the tail end of the new year, because I got a couple more videos planned out in the lead up to the transition. It ain't gonna feel like I'm really taking a break because I pre-recorded a whole bunch of stuff out in advance because I always like to spend all of this time around with family and stuff like that though. So yeah, so you don't have to worry about not hearing my voice though. But in terms of hearing it live, you won't hear it until the beginning of next year, unless you happen to be one of those people that happen to be watching my gaming streams, because I've been doing quite a bit of those throughout the month of December. Right now, I've been going through and doing some Mario Wonder. I've been going through and doing some Pokemon DLC, because that's the only way how I'm going to motivate myself to go through and finish the Scarlet and Violet DLC. Just keep it a buck 50 with y'all though. But I think I about made the rest of my piece right here though. But that's going to basically do it in terms of my ZardCast episode 68 holiday special though. So if you happen to be watching this here on live here on YouTube, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell. That way you can stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. If you haven't been listening to this, the audio version on one of my podcast servers, from everything from Amazon Music to Spotify to Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. Yes, you can even hear me in the radio in your car via iHeartRadio. Just make sure to hit the like button. Just leave a quick little review if you're able to. We're just a couple of dudes over here just talking about anything gaming that we feel like talking about, or pop culture and everything else in between though. Gosh dang it, Steven, I didn't even mention this about this though. But the one show I am looking forward to is the Marvel What If series. That will actually start up, I think, this week, here in like 3 days or so. So literally when
Yeah, I'm
that
relatively interested.
yeah, I'm interested in that too. So you'll hear our thoughts on this when we do come back at the start of the new year, because the series will be concluded, so we can give our 2 cents up on that though. But yeah, that's gonna basically do it in terms of this Zarcast episode though. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, until my next Zarcast episode 68 that should kick off the brand new year for 2024. I'll see y'all later.